TGIF, Angela.
You ready for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'm ready for the Super Bowl, bro. I got like some fast-ish type food
Yeah, you got
in
some
the freezer.
Super Bowl snacks?
Yeah, man, we got some Super Bowl snacks. I'm ready for the Super Bowl. I got my Bad Bunny attitude. You know what I mean?
I'm going to do it up, man. We're going to have a whole Super Bowl party here, just the two of us. Quarantine Super Bowl.
You know, we got Australians in the
2026.
house. Are you going to watch the Super Bowl? Do you guys watch the Super Bowl in New Zealand and in Australia?
Don't they
I know
have better?
I know they have access to it.
Don't they have better sports there, like rugby?
They have rugby, you know, well, like,
It's like way better.
our one of our by our I mean the Philadelphia Eagles, one of our most talented and really one of the most talented offensive linemen in all of football in America is Australian. Mailata.
Was he a rugby player?
He was a rugby player.
I wonder what it's like for him to wear all this gear, you know?
Well, I think it's pretty good for him
slows
since
him
his contract was like he signed like a $60 million contract. He's a big deal. So I would imagine that Australia has its share of Eagles fans. You know?
Who are you rooting for this year?
Well, it's not about rooting. I root for the Philadelphia Eagles, so I don't root for anyone in the Super Bowl. But I think that the Seattle Seahawks are going to win it in a rout.
Oh,
over the Patriots.
so you think it's going to be boring?
I don't know about boring. I mean, Bad Bunny is going to be there. You know, it's energy. You know, people are eating, drinking, being abusive. It's going to be great.
Being abusive.
You know, it's no laughing matter, truly. Even though I was joking, but you know, I didn't know anything about it when we made Don's Plum, and when we were cutting it, you know, in Don's Plum we have the, you know, we have the slapping scene. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yep. So Leo witnesses a slapping scene, and then he's like, "Oh, what the fuck," and whatever. And in that scene, Scott Bloom, he says, like Super Bowl Sunday, when they were talking about domestic violence. And I didn't know what the fuck he meant. And
Did you hear it at the time, or you only heard it when you were editing?
When we were editing,
Yeah.
is when I paid attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say whether I heard it or not during the shoot because it was just, you know, so stupid busy. But yeah, man, Splish is by the way, I don't know if I told you, but Splish is on the crew. I know she's in the crew here, but she's also in the crew on Patreon. It's pretty
Sweet.
cool. Yeah. Patreon's going to be a blast, man.
So statistically, Super Bowl Sunday is a bad day for DV?
Super Bowl Sunday is a bad day for DV, but that used to be, see, here's the thing about it. I think that that's just now sports in general across this country.
Yeah, they're saying that
because it's betting.
They say that sports betting contributes to it.
I'll tell you
Higher
how
stress.
crazy it is. I read a statistic that I could probably be getting wrong, but it won't be getting it wrong on the, like, if I'm getting it wrong, it might be because I'm getting it light. But domestic violence in households where sports is consumed is up 70% or something in that number since the legalization of sports betting in America.
Wow, that is
Yes.
like, that's terrible.
And it's devastating. And I know this to be true just because, like, my father had a gambling problem, and he would just become desperate and awful, you know. So yeah. Anyway, that's the bad news. The bad news is that, so it's interesting because, like, that statistic dropped by Scott Bloom in Don's Plum.
Yeah.
It was like amazing for me because I was like, I was relatively new to America. I was like, what? They're like, yeah. I was like, because it's like such a celebrated thing, the Super Bowl. And the dark secret is that, you know, it's a time when women are particularly victimized by domestic violence in America. So it's a sad, sad day in a lot of ways. But again, that's something that's just picked up massively in America with the legalization of sports betting, which is just the worst thing to happen. I mean, I don't know why this, I didn't know why. Capitalism is just the most terrifying, horrible beast. It is, it's capitalism. You know, only capitalism creates sports betting in America. Only capitalism does that. And it's kind of devastating.
And people bet what they can't afford to lose. So they get super upset.
Yeah.
I tried to find Kid Rock's natal chart Because he's headlining the Super Bowl, you know.
No. Can you imagine if Kid Rock were headlining the Super Bowl?
I mean, he finally did it. Kid Rock's headlining the Super Bowl. It's the Turning Point halftime alternative Super Bowl.
I have to
show.
watch it. I have to watch this fucking train wreck of a situation. I can't like not show up on Monday having not watched that travesty. So I'll just have to have it. I'm going to put it on the laptop.
On the little TV?
Yeah, we'll just watch it on the laptop. What we'll do is we'll put it side by side and take a picture.
We'll play it live and then we'll watch it after. Because, you know, you want your undivided attention to be on the Bad Bunny show. Because it's going to be great. Okay. So
I'm very excited about the Bad Bunny show.
The Turning Point USA presents the All-American halftime show.
Oh, really? Should we?
Neglecting that Bad Bunny is also All-American.
So what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, so check it out.
What a loser.
They're specifically celebrating faith, family, and freedom. Because if there's anything today's current Republican Party in the United States favors, it's freedom.
Yeah.
And families, right? Like forget about those families that they tore apart with the deportations and stuff. Like not those families. They're just talking about your family.
White American families.
Your family specifically.
Yeah.
So, headlining is Kid Rock, featuring performances by this guy whose name. These names sound like they were generated.
What? Do you know a Kid Rock song?
Do I know a Kid Rock song?
Yeah, like if I say Kid Rock, do you know a song?
I think I know the song where he starts out going, "My name is Kid," and then that's all I remember.
Really?
Yes, that's it.
I don't know that either.
They all sound the same.
I don't think I know one single. I don't think I know one single Kid Rock song. There's probably one that like if I heard it, I'll be like, oh yeah.
I was looking
there's
up.
There's an oh yeah one, but
I glanced at his Wikipedia page today. It's crazy how long his career has been. That this guy, of all guys, managed to carve out such a long-lasting, prevailing career.
That's why our life has such hope. Because there's
if Kid Rock can do it.
No, because there's like an audience for everybody, you know? Yeah. Even if ours is, limited, we have the fucking coolest people on earth here, so.
Dude, Kid Rock's first album was in 1990. That's how long he's been in this game.
He's a crotchety old.
He's reinvented himself a dozen times. He's 55 years old now.
He hasn't reinvented himself once. What is different of Kid Rock today?
He started out in the Detroit hip hop scene,
right?
And
shouting hip hop like Vanilla Ice.
No, his music then sounded totally different. And then he aligned with Insane Clown Posse because they have a really loyal fan base. So he kind of rose up another rung in the ladder.
I want to go with that. Yeah. We got to find somebody to share their fan base with us.
Yeah, right. Anyway, whatever. And then now, whatever he's doing now, where he's wearing like glittering jumpsuits to the Oval Office. It's fucking weird. But anyway, other performances. There's 3 other people who are performing.
Yeah.
One guy, his name. All of these names seem generated in like a laboratory of like American names.
Okay.
Brantley Gilbert.
It's like you can laugh at that because it's like Brantley.
I had to look up his age.
Where the fuck does that come from?
He's 40 years old and he's named Brantley. So
40 years old.
He was one of the first weird names. in his child friend group, they all had normal names and he was named Brantley.
Brantley.
Yeah, there was probably like a Hunter and a Tucker and a Brantley.
Let's see, there's a Brantley Gilbert. There's a Brantley Calloway.
Brantley Gilbert is his name.
Brantley County in Georgia. Mm-hmm. So I guess
he's from Georgia. Maybe that's what he's named after.
He's a Brantley.
He's Brantley Gilbert. Anyway, he does like Christian country. Oh. All of his stuff is like Jesus themed.
Okay.
And his
it's probably the best stuff anyway. Really, when you think about
his backstory I learned today is that he survived like a truck wreck. And so he's like kind of born again,
Oh, from the truck wreck?
Yeah.
He was like, God chose me.
Well, I mean, like at least that's part of his his lore.
Those are the ones that like always drive me the craziest, honestly. Just the ones that are like, like, I bet 4 other people got killed, but I survived.
Because I had a Bible by my bedside.
God chose me. Bothers the fuck out of me. God didn't choose you over the other 4 people. Yeah. That's just mean.
He smited them.
Why would you be so mean as to say something like that?
The other guy is Lee Bryce.
Lee, L-E-E. Mm-hmm. Bryce.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's his real last name. That's a fake first name. His real name.
His first name is Bryce?
No, his first name is like Travis or some shit.
It's not
but
Bryce.
Anyway, whatever. Lee Bryce. This guy, he's a country singer who does like a bunch of sappy love songs. So that's how he fits into the crew. Okay. It's like the A-Team, right? They cast
I'm going
these
to dedicate this one to Erica and Kirk. Is that his name?
McKaylee.
What's her name? Her name's
You got to
Erica.
come up with a name that's
Erica
like theirs.
Kirk, and what's his name?
Oh, Erica Kirk.
And what's his name?
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk. This one's dedicated to Erica.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
Charlie. I love you, Charlie.
No, for sure. There's going to be pyrotechnics everywhere. Every time they mention his name, it's going to be like shooting geysers of glitter flames.
It's like a weird time to be alive, bro. Charlie Kirk was assassinated in public. Like, when has that happened since what? Since Martin Luther King? That's why they wanted
It was one of the most horrific things that we have all seen, and everybody's just like, okay, so this is what we're doing.
I gotta clip these leaves.
Yeah.
and-
You want to hear about the last person who's in the Turning Point USA alternative?
There's another one?
Yes.
Oh, it's a loaded show.
It's four.
It's amazing. I've like heard of one person so far. Kid Rock.
Yeah, and you regret hearing about him.
Yeah, he's
in your life.
yeah, and his name is foul in this household.
This lady, she's a cutie patootie. She's only 25 years old,
Oh,
and she is a mother of 3.
wow.
Her entire 20s have been spent pregnant. She
Wow.
has kids that are like a year and a half, a year and a half, a year and a half
I guess
apart.
it could be worse. He could be drinking.
She is a American Idol 3rd place runner-up.
Oh, good for her.
Her name is Gabby Barrett.
Oh, Gabby Barrett.
So she's in the gig.
Gabby Barrett, mother of 3.
25 years old, mother of 3.
Yeah, my mom had my brother when she was 18, 19. Yeah, I guess 19. She got pregnant when she was 18.
That's very young.
And what's her damn name?
Gabby Barrett.
Oh, Gabby. Gabby Barrett, American singer and actress, and just all around good person.
She's a button.
She's a button. Oh, look at that.
She probably deserves better than this. You know, she's been like...
She's very pretty.
She's been in like singing pageants ever since she was a kid.
She's got that very
I think
like
she deserves to have-
Nashville pretty
Yeah.
thing going on.
She deserves to have like a bit more mainstream of a career than this, what they're siphoning her into. It's not great.
Glory Days.
I'm not a big fan of the company she keeps.
I think she does a lot of faith-based songs too.
Yep.
She's won the Academy of Country Music Award for New Female Artist of the Year.
Both of these other guys are really prolific songwriters. They write for other artists too. So it's like...
They all do because it's the only way to make money in that day.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you'd think like somebody like Kid Rock, I don't know how much writing goes into.
No, none.
But these other country singers,
performer.
it's like they're respected in their industry for selling songs to other people and they make hits out of them. So it's like, these guys are talented. I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah,
Whatever. I guess they're on board with the whole message.
Well, there you go. That's the what's it called? Oh yeah, the
Brantley
Make
Gilbert,
Heaven Crowded. What is it?
Lee Bryce, Gabby Barrett, Kid Rock.
Kid
Huh?
Rock.
What?
I just remember when they said they were going to the Turning Point when they were going to do their Turning Point halftime show. I just remember when they were talking about it and they were going to be like, we're going to show them.
Oh my God. The first person that they suggested was George Strait. And I was like, this is so fucking fantastic.
Well, he's really great.
George
by the way.
Strait. Yes, George. I mean, fine. But like his biggest
voice
hit
is
was
sick.
His biggest hit was All My Exes Live in Texas.
Oh, my
was like-
exes live in
I was like,
Texas.
you think that's going to be like...
That is his one of his worst songs.
But that was the first person they put up.
Obviously.
That was the first person they suggested. And I'm like, he's 73 years old. What are you going to do? Wheel him out?
Get out there and just stomp on that fucking wood plank.
It's so weird.
George Strait, though, my mom loved that guy for so long. Oh my God, she was like, oh, George Strait. Oh my God, George Strait. She was just, and of course, he's younger than her, so.
Yeah.
Erica's here. She says, "Ba with the bang." Wait, ba with the bang.
Yeah,
bang.
that's the Kid Rock song.
The bang boogie said. The boogie said. Oh, I think I do know this.
You see how like it makes so much sense that he was like in with the Insane Clown Posse
Erica
people.
really fucking pumped out the lyric there. Yeah. Ba with the, ba with ba da bang. The dang boogie said. The boogie said. Up jumped the boogie.
So I had to go searching for his natal chart because I was like, okay, how does a guy who is so very clearly weird and like not really full of talent, how does he keep popping up and making money through like 3 decades? Right? Like, how does he do it?
Yeah, what's his longevity?
His astrology chart is very fortunate. He was born under very good signs.
Was he?
So like most importantly, what probably speaks to his fame is that in Sagittarius he has a conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune, so that just means fame.
Yeah.
And then and it's very close to Venus. So both of his. I don't know we don't have his time of birth, so we don't know where that is in his chart. But just those three acting together, it's like he's blessed. This guy.
It's so interesting because mine's sort of like nebulous in that way because I have my conjunction, my Neptune conjunction with my ascendant.
Yeah.
But my ascendant is in the anaretic degree of Scorpio, and Neptune is in the ingressing degree, 0. So in Sagittarius, and I have Jupiter in my first house. But I've got Sag, so I have reception because I have Sag, and then I have Neptune and Sag. But I also have this Neptune conjunction of my ascendant, which is obviously co-present with my Jupiter in the first.
It's close to Kid Rock, but it's not really Kid Rock.
Well, I don't have his outstanding good looks and ability to grow facial hair.
Yeah.
His facial hair is exceptional. Come on.
Oh, man.
Best goatee in town. Anyway,
super weird.
Fuck that guy. I'm going to watch just because I'm going to have a laugh with it.
Because you like fireworks and sparklers. That's why. That's why you're going to watch, because for sure there's going to be a ton of those.
I just want to see how cringe it gets. This is definitely a traffic accident of the ages, and I want to watch it unfold live, I think. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, you know what? No, fuck that. I'm just going to watch the Super Bowl like everybody else.
That's probably what's going to happen.
But you never know. I might dial it up for laughs.
What else? What else do we have?
Before we read?
Oh, there was a guy who got arrested for trying to extort Bitcoin as a ransom for Nancy Guthrie's
He got
kidnapping.
arrested. They got an arrest.
A guy was arrested for trying to extort.
So it was a lie.
Bitcoin, yes.
So
he
basically nobody has come forward.
He wrote a ransom note saying, "Pay me in Bitcoin if you want her to live or fucking whatever."
I've got your mother.
And
she's not doing great, but she's still alive, so I would pay up if I were you.
Yeah, pretty much. They arrested his dumbass. So I don't know. I don't know if there's any new updates. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, that's a sad situation. I hope that they find her. It's so odd. Maybe it is true that she did, in fact, self-inflict that wound, and maybe she is wandering around. It's just a fucked up situation. We just don't. It must be terrifying to not know what's going on, and then to be preyed upon in that way. Because people suck, and they're like, oh fuck, maybe I could squeeze some Bitcoin out of a fucking television personality. Oh, wow.
Well, it's also like Savannah Guthrie with the Today Show. She interviewed Epstein victims, and so people are assuming that maybe she might be targeted, like "I'll hurt your family" type shit, because of her work, right? And then
I'm gonna grab your 84-year-old mother.
Well,
it's just like that is not the crime of a very smart human being. Like you have an expiring old lady, let's face it, and you have a situation where, and like maybe she lives until she's 90, maybe she lives until she's 100. I don't know, but the bottom line is that the risk you're taking for nabbing a woman in her twilight is absurd.
My point for bringing that up was that they don't yet know whether she was kidnapped, but if they're thinking that she is, it must be really awful. She must feel like she's to blame because she's the famous child of this person, right? So
yes.
if they're trying to get ransom from a celebrity, high stakes situation there.
Yeah, she
must feel guilty for it. Like somehow her celebrity endangered her mother or something.
Look, I'm obviously hoping for the best. It's a bizarre story. I guess so because TMZ was so into it because they got the ransom note. So,
I don't know whether it's the same guy. I don't know whether that's the same.
Like multiple ransom notes. No, it's me. I got the old.
Well, that's
lady.
what I thought. Is that just because it's such a high profile case that people would be trying to exploit it? There's a lot of like lunatics who were.
They'll probably find her in some like far off place where she went wandering. I don't know. I just hope the best in that situation. I doubt she's living at this point. I mean, it's been days, right? If she's not in the care of an assailant, however that sounds.
She's like watching TV at her neighbor's house this whole time.
Like
they're so old they don't have the.
I'm famous. I'm famous. Not my daughter. Me. I'm famous.
Yeah, it's like a Gone Girl situation.
It's a Gone Girl.
She's like, I'm just gonna spill a little blood here. Oh, that looks nice. Okay. Splishna said, I'm excited for the Puppy Bowl.
Oh, yeah, Puppy Bowl. The annual Puppy Bowl. I don't think I've ever watched it. I guess I'll watch it this year. I got so many things to watch.
Why are you going to watch the Puppy Bowl?
I'm gonna have to get the Steam Deck. Go into the desktop mode on my Steam Deck and like, stream on the Steam Deck. And Puppy Bowl sounds good. By the way, some things happened. Popcorn Planet, his appeal was dismissed, although it was like a pretty mature appeal, and it's all this like weird legal. It sounds like his lawyers are just a mess, and they just fucked this whole thing up for him.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, but so it's not out. Like it's not finished. He still has. He has like a hearing. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
So he doesn't have to turn it over yet.
Yeah,
this whole time
he doesn't
it's
have
just
to turn
been
it over.
delayed.
He's still in delay.
He's going to try and delay all the way.
Which is
until
all the
May.
purpose of what he's doing is just delay. Yeah, I guess he's trying to get forgotten. But they're going after those fucking texts, and I hope they get it.
God.
So we'll see what happens there.
Such a weird game.
The Olympic Committee is begging, and this is so great because this is really basically translating to the Olympic Committee asking for like a huge TikTok moment, right? They're begging for fans to not boo JD Vance and Marco Rubio at the opening ceremony.
Fuck you, we'll do what we want.
Pretty much everybody in the comments is like, so they want us to boo? You got it. You know what I mean?
Pretty sure we're booing.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a big boo, I think. We're going to boo. So obviously this is happening in Milano, and it'll be interesting to see how that all goes down. But I'm excited for the big boo.
Opening ceremonies now?
I guess, did the big boo happen? Yeah, shit's happening. I
What
think
the
so.
hell?
It's always this.
How come nobody ever tells me?
Always with the Olympics. The Olympics start. Has it started? I don't know.
It's always like this.
Where is it? Where do I find it? On NBC? Okay. Go there. They don't know what's up. I don't know.
I know. We never know how to watch it.
There's a this channel and that. I'm excited for the Olympics, obviously. As a Canadian, the Winter Olympics are everything to us.
They're kind of the best.
In terms of national sports. That's our pudding. That's our cake. And so I'm excited for this year's cake.
It's your cheese curd.
We'll see how the Canadians do.
What's the?
Do you see how weird that was?
What's the Canadian?
Do you see John Hamm?
Cake?
Was it John Hamm? Is it John Hamm? Is that the guy who played?
What are you talking about?
The guy who played in the fucking smoking ad. What was that? TV show.
John Hamm was in Mad Men. Is that
Mad
what you're
Men?
talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
John Hamm. Did you see the John Hamm ad for the Olympics where
Yes.
he walks into the hockey team?
I did.
And they want to. They're there to collect Canadian tears.
Yeah, I saw it with you actually, because we were like watching together. I wasn't like across town in my own house. I was like just here with you.
I don't know if you're paying attention, bro.
It was weird though, because that ad, the whole ad framed the Olympic team as if there's beef between US and Canada.
Well, there is, because what happened was all the Terra
All of a
Force
sudden.
happened and
Yeah.
shit happened, and the juniors were playing. I think it was the juniors. And it was the Canadian and the American team, and it got ugly. Like, it just turned into a brawl because it
But
was
that's
all
so
over the
stupid.
tension of the countries.
You see, that's what our
Hockey players, bro, they're like,
ruler.
I think we're supposed to fight in this situation.
I know, that's what our fucking corporate overlords want us to do. Is fight about their fucking decisions.
Shannon's Canadian cousin, which that's so cool that you have a Canadian cousin. Do you have other nationalities and cousins? Because like I only have one that's Canadian. I don't have any. Do you have any? You have Brazilian cousins, don't you? Mm-hmm. You
Yep.
do.
And I have cousins that live everywhere else, but I don't know if they're any other nationality.
You got Brazilian cousins? Yeah. Well. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I'm saying I'm fishing for other nationalities. Passports. I want passports. Anyway, her Canadian cousin carried the torch in Toronto.
What?
Yeah, that's fucking rad.
That's a big deal. That's very cool.
Her dad's side of the family is all still in Vancouver. My brother's in Vancouver, and I lived there for a minute. I also lived on the island, Vancouver Island in Victoria.
And one
Loved
day
it.
we shall return.
I want to more than anything. Yeah.
Cosmic Urgency is convinced that Taylor Swift watches the live because Cosmic Urgency said that she gave up on promoting the new album the other day. And so in reaction,
Yeah.
Taylor Swift released a new music video.
Hard to get.
And so Cosmic
music
Urgency
video.
is sure that that was a cause and reaction type thing.
Yes, she's watching the live.
Taking directions, actually, writing it all down.
I hope she joins the Patreon, and I hope she takes it up a notch from the $1 a month. Yeah, I know. It was interesting that you dropped that. I thought of you today when that happened.
We tried to watch the video.
Yeah, man. Fucking
I
Taylor
don't know
Swift
what's with
pissed
all
me
the
off with
fucking
that.
loopholes, bro.
What's up with that
No,
fucking
it's
bullshit?
not loopholes. What is it? Goose
Paywalls.
chase. Paywalls. Yeah.
Some shit. I had to go to Spotify, so then I log into my Spotify account, and then I can't play it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means. And I think they were trying to sell me a subscription. And I'm like, I'm not going to fucking join Spotify to watch a goddamn music video.
I know. We went poking
the fuck
around
is
for
wrong
like
with
5
you?
whole minutes looking for a
So they made it a
video.
bad experience. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll click on the Apple Music one because I was on my laptop. I have a MacBook. So I was like, okay, I'll hit the fucking music. And then that became a fucking whole
And I was like,
fiasco.
WTF, Taylor?
And I'm like, fucking everybody wants money so that I can watch a fucking music video. So I didn't watch it. Now, look, this is probably my 56-year-old moment or something where I'm like, oh no, dude, you're supposed to do this, not the other fucking thing. It's really easy. And you're looking stupid now.
No, you just followed links and clicked buttons that you were pointed to.
Yeah, it said fucking open it up in Spotify. So I did. And then I had to log in, which I hadn't in forever because I don't subscribe to Spotify. Greedy billionaire. Listen, man, I got to tell you that I don't understand why you're paywalling that shit. I don't get it. I don't know when is enough already.
She's just got like a deal. Splishness said, I said before, Taylor will wait until The Fate of Ophelia falls on the charts, and then she'll release a new single or video.
Yeah, they know how to play the game. They know how to collect all the trophies. It's not a senior moment, Dale. She's not making it free until Sunday. What the fuck?
What?
Well, I will never in my life pay for something like that. That's absurd, especially to somebody who's a billionaire. Like I might pay for something like that for some like struggling artist who's like, hey man, I'm just trying to get, fucking something. But then they can't even pull that shit. Come on, bro.
Taylor's gonna write a sternly worded letter.
I hope Taylor Swift is watching this fucking live because then it's like, come on, bro, put the fucking, get the money pinchers out. Like, what are you doing? Like, you sold 7 million records that year, almost 8 million records in 3 months. Not even 3 months. October, November, and December. So 2.5 months. Because because YouTube plays no longer count on the Billboard charts. Oh, well, that's interesting. But why a paywall? There should be no paywall. It's you can post for free on Spotify. I can listen to her records on for free if I wanted to. I don't want to because I have YouTube Music.
Sorry, I got a little.
I hate all the. Would you stop?
thing here.
Would you stop? Drink water.
I'm trying to.
Get a lozenge. A lozenge. So the Olympic Committee is begging fans not to boo. I'm gonna boo, even from my couch. Mm-hmm. Did you hear the anti-ice chant that erupted on the AEW Pro Wrestling show in Las Vegas, pausing the main event? You can say yes, Dale. I did. I was sitting right next to you.
No,
you were right there.
I didn't.
I fucking did.
Because we weren't watching it on TV. It just came across the social medias. It was really great. I don't know why they paused the wrestling event while people were chanting. I thought they wanted their crowds to be all hyped. I mean, the best way to get people to stop chanting is to do something exciting on the stage. So, like, why'd they just did they wait because they wanted it to prolong? Like maybe the director was like, hey, everybody stop because they're on the chanter's side, and they're like, let's get a good long clip of this. You know what I mean? That's probably more like it.
Might be. I'll tell you what, it was huge. I think they were saying fuck ice. Mm-hmm. And it was awesome. It was loud. There was probably at least 15,000 people there doing it. Mm-hmm. They were all they were totally in sync and chanting it like like a European football match. It was fucking dope. I loved it.
Yeah, those government agencies are relatively new, and so they'd probably be pretty easy to dissolve. I mean, I'm sure it's a huge money laundering operation, so there'd be a lot of pushback, but
yeah.
We were talking about a strongly worded letter. and I actually compiled today, speaking of strongly worded letters, all of the PGA letters and the conflict around them.
So we're going to do the PGA letters. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do, we're also going to do the, we're going to do, what's her name? Lizzy Talbot.
Yes, Liz Talbot.
I call her Lizzy Talbot.
Intimacy coordinator.
You can call her whatever you want. You know what I mean?
What would you like to do first?
But as somebody who, and just, I'm just saying for the record on this Taylor Swift thing, putting up a paywall to watch a video is greedy. I think it's greedy when you're a billionaire. I just think it's greedy. That is. I love Taylor Swift. I love her fucking music. I think she's a dynamite gal. All right? She's aces. All right? But she's an ace. I guess that's how you say it. She's an ace. But putting up a paywall as a billionaire to watch a video is patently absurd. And it's just like it comes with this logic. We were watching this YouTube when we were talking about getting into this. I just don't want to play this greedy game. And it's probably going to mean that I'm going to be fucking, we're going to end up folding this thing because we can't afford it because we just don't play the greedy game. But we were watching this, I was watching YouTube's videos and I was like to build a channel and do all this stuff and, whatever. So I'm watching this stuff and there's this guy and he's this guy that I was watching who turned himself into a guru doing it or whatever. He was on with that, the funnel guru whose name always escapes me, whatever. But he's the guy who created like sales funnels or whatever they're called.
Yeah, what the hell's his name? Oh, Russell Brunson.
Russell Brunson. That's right. So he's on with Russell Brunson and he's talking about what he'd set up as for layers of income to make off of his channel.
Okay.
And there was these courses or something, or it was like a course. And he was asking an enormous amount of money for this fucking course.
Like a grand.
No, it was like $1,900 or something.
What?
It was so bad. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? That's more than college in most places.
Yeah.
So he's asking this absurd amount of money for a course that he says won't even make you money. It was like it's a beginner's course or whatever. It was just patently absurd. And he had said something about like putting a bigger one together and then charging a little bit more. And Brunson had said something like $20,000 or something. And he was like, why would I do that? No one will pay for that. And Brunson went, you don't think anyone will pay for that. You'd be surprised.
What I mean? It's like just greedy.
So it's like they sit around and then they identify like a certain profile of their fan bases.
They also start
or whatever it is that will spend a certain amount of money
in
any circumstances. It's like there was this thing that used to
Let
go
me
around.
just say, they start out wanting to reach people. They want to share their knowledge, but they end up siphoning out any of their possible attendees, anybody who might benefit from their knowledge by making it completely restrictive. There's a bunch of courses that I've never been able to take that I would have made me a better person, and I would have gone on to promote those courses that I learned from. But just because it was just completely prohibitive, how expensive they are, it's just ridiculous.
What's even more funny is that they were having these conversations, and this guy's channel was making him $6 million a year.
Yeah, so he started the conversation saying, I don't actually need to make more money.
Yes, he literally said, I don't need to make any more money.
And Russell Brunson was like, yeah, but what if you actually did
so
make a ton more money?
They're just hoarding money.
It's just fucked up.
It just becomes it becomes an addiction, I guess, or something, where you just want to hoard money. Like the only purposes I have for money are food, shelter, right? And just expenses for living, right? Whatever they are. Like as far as material desire, like I don't have much of that.
Yeah, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? That like very iconic like pyramid that they show with like the levels of the sort of needs
it's
you have to
pretty fascinating, yeah.
Yeah, the needs that one has to have satisfied before they can even think about the next tier, the next rung up the pyramid.
Right.
None of those tiers, all the way up from the top to the bottom of the pyramid, or bottom to the top, is luxury.
No.
Like you don't need to be wealthy. You don't need to have luxury. You just have to have enough to satisfy all of your basic needs. And then you can branch out into satisfying your social needs, and then branch out into satisfying your creative needs, and then your intellectual needs. None of it involves like, fucking hanging out on your friend's yacht.
Exactly. It's just
nobody needs it.
It's so weird to just see people so caught up in so much material nonsense. It's just nonsense. They're like competing with super yachts and expensive watches. It's like, what are you doing? Like I'm honestly, it's just sad to see such a profound disconnection from just anything human. There's nothing human in any of that. It's a loss of humanity there. It's entirely superficial. It's being dazzled by gems. It's bejeweled. Is that the word?
If something is bejeweled, it's covered in gems.
Bejeweled.
Or has gems on it, right? Like if I wear a bunch of jewelry, I will be bejeweled.
Is that what it is? Bejeweled.
You
Yeah, adorned with jewels.
Yes.
Yeah. A life bejeweled.
Do you want to hear any of these things that I've collected for today?
I do. Yeah, I do. I absolutely do.
These were by request.
Let me just see if these are by request. I just want to see if there's any last thing that I want to get. I guess the last thing I'm going to mention this is because I think it's absolutely crazy that we live in a world where a president of the United States would put out in social media the former president and his wife as monkeys, as apes.
Yeah, he took it down though, huh?
He did take it down. Wasn't that nice of him?
Somebody was like, "Sir, we're afraid that you look like a giant piece of shit. So, if you wouldn't mind."
It's Black History Month, so I just find it so.
Yeah, he's just I think the tactic was like they're like, "Hey, everybody thinks that you are part of like a pedophilia, child trafficking ring." And so why don't we just try and like up the racism so they forget about the other crimes that it's all a giant distraction. That's like how I only ever see anything that he's doing now as a giant distraction, because really only one thing matters to everybody. And that's like, when are we going to get justice for this? When are these people going to be perp walked?
Somebody called Dee Ho, 7BM said, "Get a real job, Dale. Vanity memoirs and YouTube is not real."
Vanity memoirs?
I don't know what that is.
Is there such a thing?
I mean, memoirs are about people.
People write memoirs about their own life.
I don't know if you think before you speak, dude. Vanity memoirs?
Are you aware of the meaning of that genre?
Do you know what a memoir is? Do you know they're ideally written in your 50s, by the way? Because you can look back a little and see how things were.
You wrote a vanity memoir.
Dee, I'm just going to leave you here and leave this up here just to remind people of what not to be.
I hope for Dee Dee that she can develop some way to make her life more interesting so that she too could write a vanity memoir one day that people might like to read.
Well, I guarantee you that everybody does have a fucking wonderful and interesting life, and that they should express it through a memoir, because it's not only cathartic, but it's also completely...
my point is just that bashing strangers online and little low effort comments is not the way to build an interesting enough life that maybe you too could have a memoir that people enjoy reading.
Well, I'm glad they were compelled enough to try and like try to fuck up my day or something. Bro.
It is delightful how each and every time comments like that say so much more about the person who's left the comment than it ever could about you.
No, truly, it's
like, we know so much about Dee Dee now that we didn't know before she left that comment.
Shannon said that's the next great title for a book. Vanity memoir. A vanity memoir.
By Zsa Zsa Gabor.
One day you'll know what a memoir is, and then you'll know how to respond to one when you see it. Let's get into listening to this. You want to do the PGAs?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. So we're going to start with the PGAs.
So we're taking you through a chronological, because I didn't know how else to order this.
Yeah, okay, great.
Okay. So the very first email that we have here is from this is all happening in mid to late June of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So June, July, August 9th is when the premiere happens. That's how much they're like wrapping up the production and getting ready for their premiere. This is mid to late June. So Blake Lively is going around and she's asking people for PGA letters of recommendation so that she can collect them all and then send them with her letter asking for the PGA credit.
Yeah.
And she has asked everybody. First thing that we see here in the exhibits is an email from Jamie Heath to Michael Marshall. I don't know if that's Mitz. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know who Michael Marshall is.
But I think Mitz is Mitz. I don't think they go... Okay.
I actually don't know Okay, so Jamie Heath is sending an email on June 18th, 2024 to Michael Marshall, Imani Mezian, and Joseph Linnaeus. And the subject line is, "It ends with us, Blake Lively credit." Okay?
Yeah.
So he says, "Hi, Michael. Hope you're well. I'm writing from Japan as I'm here on business for the week in case we need to speak further. We have agreed to give Blake a producer credit on the film. She would not be getting the PGA mark as that is not applicable."
This is Jamie Heath.
Yes. While we don't have a signed agreement from her, I'll let you determine how to best implement the language wherever needed. I suggest she get a shared card with Christy Hall, the writer, as she too has a producer credit. Either way, we are agreeing for this credit to be in the third position after Alex Sachs and myself, and who do have the PGA mark. Due to the nature of the sensitivity of this particular project, I believe Josh and Ange will discuss the position of her credit, but wanted to flag the condition for you, for which we have agreed to it.
And this is to whom?
Jamie Heath says, "Let me know if you have any further questions or concerns." Jamie is sending to Michael Marshall, Imani Mazian, and Joseph Linnaeus. I don't know if I'm
At the
pronouncing this
PGA?
right. No,
Oh. Who are these people? Do you know?
I don't know. I know Imani, I think, is a Wayfarer person. Okay.
Okay.
I think that they're just
So he just said
clarifying the
that
credits.
she's not qualified?
He said, "We have given Blake a producer credit. She would not be getting the PGA mark as that is not applicable."
Who the fuck is he?
Well,
He doesn't get to decide that.
At this point, she does not have the PGA mark
No, I
at
understand.
this point. Okay. So the very next thing that happens in the chronology is Blake Lively is collecting PGA letters. Okay. She sends this text message to Josh Greenstein. Greenstein? I don't know. Whatever. This
Every time.
is June 24th, 2024. Okay. She says, "Morning, Josh and Ange." Oh, yeah. Ange Gianetti also. "Morning, Josh and Ange. Great call with the team today regarding PR and marketing. Just checking in on Wayfarer letter status. The PGA has been altered and are expecting my letter with all letters immediately. I have 18 letters, all but theirs." So this is like the next week. Apparently, Jamie Heath has not notified her. She's still waiting for the PGA letter from Wayfarer. She's collecting all her letters. She's wondering what the status is on that. Okay. Nobody's told her.
Right.
Because Jamie Heath is so good at communicating. And Gianetti said, "I just heard from Jamie at Wayfarer. Are you available to talk?" Okay. That's at 1:58 p.m. She says yes at 2:16. 2:59 p.m. Josh goes, "Fucking dummies." And Blake Lively says, "Yep." Okay.
Yep.
So I guess she heard the news. Josh Greenstein thinks they're fucking dummies for not wanting to give her the PGA mark, I'm assuming. Okay. So then Blake Lively she sends her letter the very next day. What are you tippy-tapping?
You keep going. It's none of your damn business.
None of your damn business. All right. This is Blake Lively's letter to the PGA, okay? Subject line, Blake Lively PGA. It ends with us. Time sensitive, please. "Dear Producers Guild of America, I'm writing you with meaningful urgency and also respect. I'm sorry, but I'm asking for your attention to this in a crunched time period. I'm positive you have matters much more significant than this, but I bear my heart to you asking for you to take a look at my note, as this film and my work in it off camera means more to me than anything I've done in my 20-year career. There has been recent update change with regard to my official role in the upcoming film It Ends With Us, released August 9th. Just a few days ago, I was officially granted the title of producer after a year and a half of asking and working tirelessly to prove the validity of that title. I've produced every moment of this film, from pre-production through production into post and now into marketing and worldwide release. I'm grateful that the contract has now been revised to reflect the immense work that I put in. I'm writing to ask you for the great honor of receiving the PGA tag. I don't take that lightly. In our household, that's the highest honor in film, so I understand the gravity of the ask. I also understand the absurdity of asking this late. Without the official title of producer, my hands were tied. I couldn't apply when I wanted to. No crew could tick me in the box of producers who should receive the tag when polled. I'm pleading now because I'm confident with all my soul that if you saw what I did on this film, you would agree that this mark is, without question, deserved. I'll lay out how we got here below. because I appreciate that this isn't the way the process usually works. Forgive me. Sorry. You granted the PGA tag to two producers, Alex Sachs and Jamie Heath, on April 18th. I'm in full support of their tags. My understanding is that they both are in support of mine. She apparently wasn't told. My understanding is that they both are in support of mine. I have a note from Alex below.
That's fucking crazy.
I know. A bunch of fucking spineless cowards, bro. I have a note from Alex below, attached below, along with 16 other department heads, and Jamie, if asked, I'm sure would confirm the work I did. So much has changed since they filed for their tag, the most significant being that the cut of the film that was selected to be released is my cut, which I'll lay out in more detail later, but I imagine you appreciate the gravity of that advancement alone since April 18th. As to not get too bogged down in more of the why now details, I'll focus on the facts of the work I did in each stage of production bulleted out below. I apologize for how dense this is, but it's important to me to lay out all I've done when asking for such a significant consideration from you all at the PGA. I'm changing the font to make the read as easy as possible. Development and pre-production. I led the location shift from Boston to New Jersey and helped to solve all cost and schedule logistics associated. I personally called and or wrote emails to crew and put forth names for department head roles, including hair, makeup, director of photography, costume design, transportation, security, camera operators, etc. I identified and onboarded freelance team members for the cast members, not just myself, to help achieve the goals for the screen, including a fitness trainer, nutritionist, meal prep services, spray tanner, wig maker, hair colorist, etc. I reviewed and reshaped the creative of the production design for all key locations for all characters, also made changes to use existing elements of locations to save cost. I called in favors with home design contacts to get items loaned, discounted, or gifted to save production design costs. Isn't it crazy how they were trying to make her a villain for running up the budget when here she is talking about all the ways that she saved them money?
Yeah. Well,
they're
not going to talk about that, are they?
I reviewed and reshaped the creative of the costume design for all characters. I called in favors with fashion contacts to get items loaned, discounted, or gifted to save costume design costs.
That budget went up, so that's their argument, right?
Yeah. I reviewed and reshaped the creative of the prop and floral design for the key film element of the film. The protagonist is a florist. I did outreach to florists all over Instagram and beyond, helping with the marketing activation to feature a florist in the film and connected the best names with production. I went through hundreds of casting tapes to help find the rest of the cast, including our stars, Atlas, young Lily, young Atlas, and Jenny Bloom, which is Lily's mother. I rewrote the script to improve the role of Jenny Bloom after 3 actresses turned it down. I personally identified and put forth Amy Morton to play Jenny Bloom. After the rewrite of Jenny Bloom was implemented, Amy accepted our offer. I worked alongside my agents as well as other talent agencies to put forth names for Atlas, sending links to their work and in many cases reaching out to their teams directly to get interest and availability. I screen tested with all options for Atlas. When we struck out with those actors, we offered the role to our original choice, Brendan Sklenar.
It wouldn't be a producer's thing, but go ahead.
Huh?
She's screen testing with them is just her being a good actor in that situation.
Right. Okay. We offered the role to our original choice, Brendan Sklenar, who then turned it down, so I had my team get involved in convincing him to do it. I wrote him a personal letter as well. He accepted the role. I gave the director references for the characters' dialogue and visuals. I Zoomed with every cast member to get their notes and ideas. I then did significant rewrites of the script to incorporate all the notes of the cast, studio, distributor, author, director, and myself, since our writer was not available at that time because she was on another job. I also addressed scheduling, financial, location, weather, and or other logistical constraints in that rewrite. I pushed the studio distributor and director to change the rating of the film from an R rating to a PG-13 because there was a significantly bigger market opportunity with PG-13, which the book captured. I argued that in order to replicate the book's success in the screen adaptation, we needed to serve the same age range of audience.
I thought it was R-rated.
I don't know. They have sex. They have sex. The issue was the studio already had a deal in place with the distributor to deliver an R-rated film. I had multiple conversations with all parties, helping to convince everyone of the shared bigger opportunity for all, resulting in everyone agreeing to make the film PG-13, which is where it stands today. Production. I constantly broke schedule and budget in pre-production and then daily and often hourly during production. I unfortunately was responsible for the firing of our first AD, Julie. That's interesting. She claims responsibility for that. I thought Alex Sachs and Ange Giannetti were agreeing that she needed to go, but Blake Lively says that she was unfortunately responsible.
She takes credit for everything, even the bad things.
I unfortunately was responsible for the firing of our first AD, Julie, as we were not making our days for the first many weeks, and I had the 20 years of experience to see that the days were not boarded well enough from the get-go, and her experience was not appropriate for the film we were making. I flagged security risks and pushed to execute getting the entire crew badges. I'd never been on a set without them, yet they were not put in place for this production. We were having breaches where fans were filming our monitors and uploading the scenes to TikTok because no one knew who was crew and who wasn't. Badges were in place days later. That's messy. I can't believe that. Okay. I flagged and had the production name changed to an alias, as is standard in my experience. This changes all signs for locations, call sheets, transportation, etc., as the film's true title was all over every sign, identifier, and correspondence. As a result of using the actual title, we were flooded with unwanted security breaches, paparazzi, large crowds, and leaks. Which, according to Baldoni, he liked that all the fans were always hanging out.
Maybe he wanted it then, you know?
Yeah. I helped to block the staging of every scene for shooting efficiency, oftentimes asking to block the night before, so the crew could pre-light without wasting the time of putting the cast from hair to makeup, pulling the cast from hair and makeup to rehearse. When we came back after the strikes, I was writing as we were shooting to meet real-time hurdles and demands with regard to schedule, budget, and creative needs. I reviewed and instated COVID protocols when we had an outbreak and lost many key crew members. I managed the politics and HR concerns on a daily basis, acting as an intermediary to keep crew and cast engaged, safe, and on board. That's interesting. I shortlisted with the director, DP, and first AD. Not usually all at once, but just when it was asked of me. On round 2 of the film, we shot half of the film before the strikes and half after. I would speak to our first AD, Chris Sargent, every night for nearly an hour on my drive home, and once I arrived home to assess and rework our schedule to help make our days, which we were struggling to make. I was able to omit 3+ days of shooting via rethinking the schedule, changeovers, locations, stunts, weather, and adapting the script to accommodate. I was the director's partner in all creative and logistical concerns, helping to execute the best outcomes for the film. I would push back when needed. I would support when needed. The film is and was always my top priority. I watched the monitor between every take to make sure that everything that ended up on the screen from every department was best servicing the film and led the changes needed to get there when applicable. When issues arose, I led the hiring of a freelance producer to help balance the set, the incredible Todd Black. I led hiring a new intimacy coordinator and intimacy doubles to help block out the sensitive scenes for both safety and shooting efficiency. I helped to manage the logistics and protections of a closed set, and when there were oversights, I stopped production to make sure the set was safe and complying with all players' nudity, writers, and contracts. I made sure cast members had mini green rooms on set when I noticed the time we lost to cast leaving to go back to their more distant green rooms. I called and led meetings with all department heads, the studio, and the distributor when we had extenuating circumstances challenging our production plans, including the wildfires, as well as picketers from the writer's strike. I acted as a liaison between cast and their reps in finding solutions to finish the film, and I also acted as an intermediary between the other actors, their reps, and also crew members who were coming to me for guidance and help because they were concerned about being replaced with people who would cross the WGA picket line. I absolved them of their concerns of being replaced by standing in support of the WGA myself and not crossing the picket line myself. This is really interesting because we just heard in Baldoni's depositions this last week that he said that he made sure that everybody in the crew understood that they were only expected to cross the picket line if they were comfortable crossing the picket line. And here she is saying that she got feedback from the crew members who were coming to me for guidance and help because they were concerned about being replaced with people who would cross the WGA picket line. And it makes a lot of sense when your boss is saying, hey man, I'm going to leave it up to you. You can cross if you're comfortable with it. They're going to be like, okay, well, can I say no? Like, If he's leaving it up to me, then he's making it my responsibility, which is, not where that belongs. And he'll just replace you if you give him the wrong answer. Do you want to hear more?
Yeah.
Post-production. This is a long list. She's really pitching.
It's kind of obnoxiously long. Like there's so much I would have recommended she edit already. Like, for example, like telling the PGA that she tested with actors. Mm-hmm. Like, producers don't test with actors. They're there during the test.
That's right.
They don't fucking test with the actors do that. So it's a little bit weird.
Post-production. And this, I think, will be informative. Because we don't know a lot about what happened from her perspective in post-production. We only have a bunch of Baldoni text messages complaining about what he isn't involved in. Okay?
Okay.
I have spent at minimum 10 hours a day, every day since April 22nd on the post of this film. My longest days have been 22 hours, and that has happened multiple times. She put multiple in all caps. Multiple times. I realize this sounds like an exaggeration, especially because for periods of that, I was shooting another film or raising my 4 children. And anyone on this post process will verify this is unfortunately true. I've been sleeping an average 1.5 to 3 hours a night for over 2 months to get this film recut, reworked, and done. I worked with the film's original editor, Una, for 10 days in New York City, starting April 22nd, to be sure the director's goals and preferences for the film were understood and honored before starting with my own editors to expand the audience and commerciality of this film. The plan was to start with my editors on May 2nd, but it was key to me to honor all players, so I offered the extra 10 days to handle this most responsibly and thoughtfully. I worked with my own editors May 2nd onward, running a room of sometimes 3 editors at once, as we pushed to meet the tight timing for 3 test screenings and eventually picture lock. I remain working with one of my editors, Alan Baumgarten, as we finish out the final details of the film. I brought on a new composer, the duo...
Alan Baumgarten?
Alan Baumgarten.
Alan Baumgarten?
Mm-hmm.
Alan?
You know him?
I think I do. Keep going.
I brought on a new composer, the duo Rob Simonson and Duncan Blickenstaff. Personally reaching out to Rob and convincing him to join us with very limited time, troubleshooting financial and logistical hurdles to get him on board. I hand-selected 90% of the songs in the film and worked alongside Season Kent, our music supervisor, to find the rest, or shape the ones we do have with our music editor, Robbie. I also work with her to this day on budget considerations and switching out songs as needed to meet our budget. I worked with Spring, the head of clearances at Sony, on song budget and clearances. I've personally called and emailed many of the artists to convince them to let us use their songs, and have also negotiated with them on pricing. 4 of the biggest artists included in our film passed on the film until I personally called them, wrote letters to them, and then finalized with their representatives. I've worked with our sound designers and mixers for multiple test screenings and now the final mix, sitting in the Sony mix stage until 2 a.m. working every detail. And I remain in the thick of that work, listening into mix sessions on my custom Dolby headphones made for our mix stage, as well as coming out to LA next week for the final week of mix in person. I've worked with our music editor, Robbie, to be sure every moment of each song is coming in and out at the exact right spots and with the right emotion, often coordinating between them. Season, our music supervisor, and our composers, Rob and Duncan. That detail right there is one of my biggest criticisms of One Battle After Another. They didn't have the music coming out, fading down. It was still loud with singing through scenes. I couldn't hear dialogue. It was really irritating. So that's an interesting detail she put in there. That's one of the things I hate. That's why I prefer movies that don't have music. I've been on Zoom for the cast's ADR sessions. I've been working on the VFX, overseeing every shot that makes it into the film. I've been working with the graphics team, helping to choose, there's some typos here, helping to choose and shape the fonts of the title and credits. I've worked with legal, the studio, and the distributor on credits and cards. I appealed to Columbia Pictures to grant Isabella Ferrer the introducing card, marking only the 6th time they've granted that title in their 100-year history. I'm about to dive into the DI in person this week and next week alongside Stefan from Company 3 for the color timing. What's DI?
I don't know. DI? Mm-hmm. I'm about to what?
I'm about to dive into the DI in person this week and next week alongside Stefan from Company 3 for the color timing.
I don't know what she means by DI. Color timing is coloring. It's color work.
Color timing?
It's called timing, yeah.
Strange.
It's always been called timing, yeah.
Really?
Yes. It's not strange. That's what it's called.
It's strange sounding when you don't make films.
Yeah. Well, people just say color because it's just as easy to say that and know what we're talking about.
Right.
But it's called timing and yeah.
Okay, next thing. I've been in touch with our DP Barry on the resizing or digital shifts in shots to be sure his vision is executed. I brought the author of the book that the film is based on into the fold, involving her intimately in the edit to make sure that we are best honoring the book and the audience in order to capture the success of her novel in our film. I pushed for 3 test screenings of the cut I was asked to execute and oversee so that I could capture audience feedback and scores, as well as our creative team's opinions to shape the cut for maximum commercial success. I also had multiple calls with the distributor of the film and Screen Engine is in caps as a company, who ran our test screenings to evaluate the scores and integrate their feedback as well. I would personally read all 100 plus pages of every booklet and scorecards to learn from the feedback of every screening. I re-edited the film each time, utilizing the learnings from the audience, the creative team, the distributor, the author, and the other producers. I held my own friends and family test with top filmmakers I know, asking for their input. The cut of the film that I led was selected as the version of the film that will be released on August 9th. Marketing and PR and release. Staring with the, I guess that's a typo. I guess maybe that's supposed to be starting. Starting with the initial trailer, I called a meeting with Josh Greenstein, president of Sony, forgive me, in February 2024, and the entire marketing team at Sony to lay out the angle of the campaign. There was no film for anyone to watch yet, so the trailer they made understandably didn't capture what the film would be. I walked them through the film, cited dailies and down to which take, with time codes where they could find footage to build the best trailer. Once they submitted the trailer, I worked with them on every frame of the creative, factoring in any social sensitivities. I worked hand in hand with Bridget Wright on this. I personally secured Taylor Swift to loan her song to our trailer and marketing efforts, which helped it to be the largest debut of a film-led film trailer of all time. Debut of a film-led film trailer of all time. Wild! ! So proud. I speak with marketing and PR at Sony no less than 5 times a day, every day for 2 months now. I often have Zooms with upwards of 10 people on their teams. I've worked in person with them via text, via calls, via Zoom, on the ground, during press. I am available and reachable to every single team member and their assistants at all hours, 7 days a week. Anyone can and will confirm. I'm working closely with the international teams on everything from posters, commercials, book covers, and beyond by territory. I'm working closely with the digital teams on everything from the social media pages down to the color, palette, graphics, language, copy, cadence, and even what font is used and when and how. I'm working with the publishing side on book covers, the look, layout, and usage. I helped to design our first major PR marketing event, which was 2 weekends ago in Dallas. I personally begged Tom Rothman, head of Sony, to allow me to show the film to 3,000 fans as an early preview. I had to first finish the film with all of his and the audience's notes from our previous preview, which I pulled off in time, so he agreed. I went over all of the talking points and scripts for the panel and helped tee up the film and the cast. When my co-star had a scheduling conflict and had to drop out of the event, is she talking about Book Bonanza? Was that in Dallas?
I think it was, yeah.
Okay, so she's talking about how she didn't steal the film to screen it at Book Bonanza. She's talking about how
is it literally impossible without her putting herself in serious legal jeopardy?
This allegation of her having shown the film, like a clandestine plan of hers to show the film at Book Bonanza.
I mean, when people were accusing of it, I said at that time, there's no chance that Sony wasn't in on that. There's no chance.
When my co-star had a scheduling conflict and had to drop out of the event, I got on the phone separately with him, his agent, and his publicist to get him back on board. I think she's talking about Brandon Sklenar, because I think she mentioned something like that at their little talk. I got her cast an author to help me personally introduce all 14 theaters screening the film. I bought patches myself on Amazon to hand out to fans to match our outfits as a PR push and social media activation. I identified and brought on a photographer, Jade Green, to capture the weekend of content. I helped build a creative content day in or downtime in Dallas, overseeing the creative of the scripts and content used. I previewed and approved the influencers we collaborated with. I personally styled my co-star Isabella Ferrer because she didn't have clothes for the shoot. When we were struggling to find an image for the poster, I went through the film to find the best still to be used for our first poster and helped identify the best layout to frame it in. That's interesting.
It is.
So that poster that he's saying that she took his name off of.
Yeah.
She had a hand in designing it entirely from the beginning. That's interesting. She said, I reviewed, gave feedback, and then approved the trailer standee for all theaters. Sorry, the theater standee for all theaters. Is that the poster that goes in the backlit theater posters? Standee? Is that a big cardboard cutout? Is that what that means?
I don't know. What?
A theater standee.
Yeah.
What are you typing?
Just there's some drama in the chat I'm dealing with.
Okay, good. Not good that there's drama. I'm glad that you're dealing with the chat. I didn't know if I was boring everybody to tears. Blake Lively continues. I'm producing 2 content days this week with my husband and my production company, Maximum Effort, to grab more PR and marketing material with 8 cast members and 2 producers and the author for release. I've had calls with the international team to help adjust the release schedule by territory and led the conversation about adding on international press stops and tour dates given the success of the response of the film and materials thus far. I've led the conversation to get started on a China cut in an effort to be acceptable for release there, and we'll have a Zoom with the decision makers for release in China in the coming weeks. I'm helping to oversee the sets being built for our content days and looking ahead to our junkets for ways to reuse these sets for cost effectiveness, as well as to inspire maximum press and influencer engagement. I've been on the phone with cast's representatives, producers, showrunners, tour managers, spouses, travel agents, and beyond to coordinate their schedules for press, going as far as successfully begging their bosses to release them for press for our film. That's about Isabella Ferrer.
Yeah.
She apparently called her boss at the Cheesecake Factory. I've reached out to sponsors to host screenings to help absorb marketing costs. For example, Chanel, who will be hosting a screening the day after the premiere for us. I've personally reached out to sponsors to help with the cost for our premiere and after party, helping to secure a deal with the Bolud Group to host our party there. I don't know what that is. And I still have months ahead of me to finish this film, in both what you see on screen as well as how we sell it to audiences the world over. As much as this tag means to me, and it means everything, what I'm in fight of most is the film being as great as it can possibly be. So ultimately, that's taken all my most eloquent energy. I think you get the idea though. As promised, I'm including below letters from our department heads in support of my application for a PGA mark. You'll find Alex Sachs, PGA approved producer, Barry Peterson, producer. I'm failing today. Barry Peterson, director of photography, round 1 pre-strikes. Tobias Schlesser, director of photography, round 2 post-strikes. Chris Sargent, first assistant director. Eric Damon, costume designer. Robert Lugo, hair department head. Sarah Grallman, makeup department head. Andrea Ajemian, unit production manager, executive producer. Lisa Rogers, post-production supervisor. Cami Agar, supervising sound editor. Season Kent, music supervisor. Rob Simonson and Duncan Blinkenstaff, composers. Alan Baumgarten, editor. Colleen Hoover, author, executive producer. Anne Gianetti, executive VP, Columbia Pictures. Josh Greenstein, president of Sony Motion Picture Group, Todd Black, executive producer. Blake Lively says, to be clear, while asking to be granted the PGA mark myself, I do believe that both Alex Sachs and Jamie Heath should keep the PGA mark they received. They were both there every single day in every meeting and decision. At this time, you will not find a letter from the director, Justin Baldoni, or the other PGA producer, Jamie Heath. Jamie and Justin will not be contesting my mark. They just, as of this moment, won't be writing a letter to you all like the rest of the department heads did. That's interesting. Did you hear it?
No. Sorry, I'm just dealing with this.
Can you pause? Do you want to hear this?
Yeah.
At this time, you will not be finding a letter from the director, Justin Baldoni, or the other PGA producer, Jamie Heath. Jamie and Justin will not be contesting my mark. They just, as of this moment, won't be writing a letter to you all like the rest of the department heads did. I imagine if you reach out to them, they would confirm the extent of my involvement. Please don't take my word for it, though. Please take the rest of our department heads below who you are more than welcome to reach out to at any time. Please do. Their contact info is included in their letters.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she's not getting the support from the director and the fucking producer of the movie, despite this long list. I think the list was a little overboard personally. Like, I think she added way too many things that she didn't need to add. People have busy lives. It's like she could have definitely, I think, written a more succinct letter if that was the letter that went.
Yeah, she keeps going. Let me just read the rest of this. Yeah?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Cosmic urgency.
Oh, what happened?
He just ruffles feathers and,
Yeah, he's all right.
He's just been frustrated with the live, and he speaks it. I don't mind so much that he does. It can be a little whatever, but it's just like he's been a little frustrated with the live because he likes all the entertainment that we do. He likes when we're reviewing movies and we're talking about this and that and all over current events. And we've been deadly absorbed in this trial, and we're probably going to be absorbed in this trial for a while now.
It was really just because we got like middle of January, there was a bunch of exhibits and shit that dropped, and we're going through them. But we're not going to continue forever.
Yeah, and he can anyway. Cosmic Urgency. He's been around for a better part of a year now, and so I've gotten to know him to the extent that I know that when his feathers are ruffled, he can go and kind of elbows up and knock people around, and it's not necessarily always pleasant. And so I guess Junk Farm blocked him, which is of course his or somebody did, and I guess it was what you call it, and it was Junk Farm. And I guess he took offense to that, which I didn't even know people could know that you're blocking them. I don't know how do people know that.
I don't know either.
I guess you when you
doesn't seem very.
Anyway, it's just I just wish there wasn't drama in our group, because I love you guys so much and you guys have been so great to us, and I just fucking hate drama. And I know Cosmic Urgency's pissed off because we're doing all this thing, and he's like, you guys want to grow, but all you guys are just talking about one thing, and you're on the wrong side of that thing.
Well, as
far as popularity goes, is what he means. You know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously, he doesn't mean morally, but he's talking about popularity, which he's not wrong about that. And I don't care, man. I'm doubling down on this one because it matters to me, and I think that, in the end, whatever, the channel's going to be fine. I believe that. We have great supporters. The channel will be fine. I want Cosmic Urgency to be one of those supporters. And if that means that, but we're not always going to make content that everybody wants. Sarada was here. I always get her name wrong, but she was here the other day. She's saying she kind of just glazes over when we talk about astrology, but she's a supporter of the channel. She doesn't leave. She doesn't and she doesn't sort of bitch about it either. You know what I mean? She takes from this live what she enjoys and lives with the rest. I don't know how we're going to put together, 13 to 20 hours a week of entertainment and not
create a valley.
We're also we're not going to hit everything you like. I mean, we're trying, man. We're doing our best, and
I just
want to have a good time doing it.
I'm so committed now. I just want to finish the rest of this letter.
Yeah, please do. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't apologize.
I'm done.
My apologies to Cosmic Urgency.
I'm not talking. I just and he got so he got timed out, which means that he might be gone for good, because he could be upset enough to be gone for good, and that would be terrible, because I think that'd be fucking terrible. He's a good supporter of the channel, and I know that he gets some people's, but we're all.
Also, I don't mind complaints about stuff.
So I'm just saying that when it comes to moderating the old school people of the channel, we just have to be very strict about timing those people out.
What does that mean, timing out?
Because moderators can time people out when they're just yakking too much, or they're like overbearing.
Oh, you get like put
with
in
their
a timeout.
points, so they get like 300 second. He got a 300
That does
second
sound
timeout.
annoying, though.
He got a 300 second timeout, which is firing over the bow.
Yeah, that does sound like it's an annoying thing to experience.
And like when you're like, it's different. It's completely different when people are just showing up here and harassing and haranguing people. But when we're dealing with like our close friends of the channel, we just have to be careful. It's not a big deal. If Cosmic Urgency doesn't come to this channel because he got timed out for 300 seconds, then he was obviously on the way out already, because he knows how much he means to the channel. So that would be just because he's had enough of the channel, and that's cool. And we're gonna have that. People are gonna quit the channel. We've had people who stop coming. I haven't seen Lisa Timms in forever, and I love her. Maybe she'll come back, maybe she won't. But we don't get to see a lot of Tanner anymore. And that's mostly because of work, I hope. But it's not unusual for channels to lose viewers. I just want to make sure that everybody gets us scientists. I trust all of you, including you, Bobo, of course. So I understand that if you guys are, and then he took a swipe at Deanne, which I don't know what the fuck the problem was with him and Deanne. I don't understand that. Deanne's an awesome human being.
Absurd.
He's an awesome human being. She's an awesome human being.
Yeah.
She like shares with us a lot of shit. She's really open in the community. She's like a really great friend. So I just don't understand why we can't just get the fuck along.
I know what I appreciate about Deanne is that she'll straight up be like, cut the shit. And then Cosmic Urgency will be like, just continue poking at her for no reason.
Dude, she's in her 50s, man. She's like,
you
nonsense.
can just cut the shit, dude. It's like not a big deal.
Yeah, we don't have New Zealand at all. We don't have No Two Trolls, or we're Deanne.
Well, let me just finish this, and then I want to get back to the next thing, which is another letter from Jamie Heath.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I feel like that belongs in this whole story.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Blake Lively continues in her letter to the PGA. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I thank you for reading this. It's taken every bit of me practically, logistically, creatively, and emotionally. So thank you for considering this. I also know and appreciate, again, this is not how this Mark grant goes down. I wish I was given the credit for my work sooner, so I was able to be given a fair shot at applying the right way. I know precedent is important, and on that, my dear friend Bradley Cooper gave me a pep talk about pushing for this, citing, and he told me I could mention this to you all, that a similar situation happened on the film Nightmare Alley. He was hired as an actor, but ended up extensively producing the film, and a month before release, he was given producer credit. He applied for a Hail Mary PGA mark with the support of the film's crew, was granted it, and so I'm hoping and praying that it's possible here as well. As a woman in the industry for 20 years and the mother of three daughters, a big reason I'm pushing to be acknowledged truthfully and accurately for the work I've done on this film is because I believe that it's an important thing in this day and age for a woman to be given credit for the work she did. It's as simple as that. I earned it 50 times over again on this job, but I may not get credit for it, and that hurts. Not just for me, but for all the women who are told they can't be given credit because, in quotes, there are already too many female producers. We do the work anyway. We have to fight exponentially harder to be acknowledged. And each of our fight paves the way for the next female producer, which is a big deal with the PGA because they're a big mentorship organization.
They are.
So I implore you at the Producers Guild of America to look into all the facts here. Please don't take my word for it. Please do the work. I'm sorry to ask this of you this late in the game, but as you see, I wasn't able to sooner. I promise you, you will be granting a tag to someone who gave everything of herself to this film to earn this honor, and it's something I will cherish for life. I hope you'll join me in standing for what's right and true with regard to who has earned the PGA mark for the film It Ends With Us. While we still have time, we lock and ship picture imminently. So I thank you for your attention to this in such limited time. It's in your hands now. I can sleep well knowing I did all I could do. Thank you again for your time and consideration. With respect and gratitude, Blake Lively Reynolds. Okay, and so she's attached all of this. It's like a dozen of these letters from other heads of departments and people from Sony. But then I wanted to share, that was on the 25th. On the 27th of June, 2024, just a couple days later, there's this email in evidence. This is from Jamie Heath to Imani again, now Danny Greenberg, and Nina Shaw. Danny Greenberg, I believe, is an agent. And it's CCing Mitz Toskovich. So you're right, Mitz is Mitz. Mitz Toskovich. And JB Wayfarer. So Justin Baldoni.
I think Mitz is a great name. Like, I think you have to personify it in some way. Like, it can be misplaced. I would love to have the name. I don't think I'd be a good Mitz. Like, if you look at me, it'd be like Mitz Wheatley. Like, no, you know. But like, I think like there could be a version of Wheatley, where Mitz would apply.
Okay, so this email is from Jamie Heath to all those people. Subject line: private and confidential. PGA letter.
Well,
not anymore. It isn't.
This is from who?
From Jamie Heath.
Okay.
This is 2 days after Blake Lively sent that to the PGA. Okay.
And then she went to him and went, "What the fuck is your problem, homie?"
I don't know. Let's see. Jamie Heath writes, "Hi, everyone. I'm writing to you all regarding a letter that I wrote on behalf of Justin and myself addressed to the Producers Guild. As you know, we received a request to write a recommendation on behalf of Blake for her to receive the PGA mark. This was a request that we feel was unreasonable and cold-hearted."
A cold-hearted request to get the PGA mark?
No clue.
Why is he the fucking keeper of the PGA mark? How does the PGA mark...
It's a mentoring organization where the PGA serves to protect and refine the role and conduct of producers.
It's not a mentoring organization. Mentorship is a part of it, but the organization is there to protect the sanctity of producing.
Yeah, but you're supposed to mentor new people in. He's a PGA member, but he's going to gatekeep.
Okay, but even
instead.
if he doesn't,
You know
he's
I mean?
not the fucking gatekeeper of it.
Yeah,
he's not. He's not on the board.
I know.
He's not sitting at the PGA going, "Oh no. This is fucking horseshit.
This is cold-hearted.
This is the cold-hearted is him. That he even has an opinion enough to put it in writing in such a way shows that he is somebody begrudged. You know, he is begrudging. He is.
Do you want to hear what he says?
Yeah.
For Blake to
What a
receive,
dick.
I know, for Blake, for her to receive the PGA mark. This was a request that we feel was unreasonable and cold-hearted. Essentially, the movie It Ends With Us has been taken unjustly from Justin as a director and essentially from Wayfarer's control due to the extortion of Blake. Without going into all the details of the events, which
was thrown out of court.
Because there aren't any. Without going into all the details of the events that have transpired over the months, Justin and I ended up agreeing to write the letter due to feeling trapped. She continues to hold a threat over our heads, and every time we try and hold a line, she uses that threat either directly or indirectly to get us to fold. Make no mistake, I am not suggesting that we were literally forced to acquiesce, but given the high profile of the movie, the partnership with Sony, the amount of money invested, and the need to complete the movie, we have written the letter on her behalf, omitting the truth of how and why she was able to contribute in the ways we listed. There is nothing to do with this letter now. It only serves as a way to memorialize why the letter was sent in the first place, should we ever need to explain it. Thank you, Jamie.
Why the fuck?
He doesn't like gifts from celebrities, I guess.
I mean, honestly, these guys are just
weird.
mean people. They're
I
just
know.
mean. They're just mean. The only reason she's fighting for it is because you're white knuckle gripping it from her, bro. The only reason she's fighting for it is because you're not what you say you are. She walked into a situation saying, "I can finally be everything that I fucking know I am in film, and I'm in a place that will be welcome, where that will be, not only welcome but embraced and supported." And instead, it turned into this.
Yeah, she just wants to be a part of an organization.
She just wants to be a part of an
Who gives a
organization.
fuck?
She just wants to be recognized for the work that she did
It doesn't
on your
cost
fucking
him
movie.
anything.
He's not the gatekeeper of it either.
He doesn't have to lose anything to
He
give her a
doesn't
PGA
get to
mark.
decide.
Yeah, it doesn't get to
He's not a
decide.
decision maker in this situation.
No. In fact, she got Alex Sachs, Barry Peterson, Tobias Slicer, Chris Sargent, Eric Damon, Robert Lugo, Sarah Grallman, Andrea Ajemian, Lisa Rogers, Cami Agar, Season Kent, Rob Simonson, Duncan Blackenstaff, Alan Baumgartner, Colleen Hoover.
Blackenstaff. Why can't I be a Blickenstaff? Even better.
Colleen Hoover, Ange Giannetti, Josh Greenstein, and Todd Black to endorse her.
Can you read Ange Giannetti's right now?
Yes.
Please do. I want to read Ange Giannetti's, because we just want to see how two-faced these fuckers get. And then read Josh Greenstein as well, if you would.
Here's Josh Greenstein. To the Producers Guild of America, my name is Josh Greenstein. I'm the president of the Sony Motion Picture Group. I am writing this letter to ask that you please consider granting the PGA Mark to Blake Lively for her producing role in It Ends With Us. We are distributing and marketing the film and have a sizable financial investment. Blake has recently been given producer credit by Wayfair, who is a co-financier as well and oversaw the production. I can only speak to what
And the devil!
I can only speak to what I have seen with my own eyes, and Blake is the definition of a producer. In the post process, Blake's creativity and drive are an inspiration. She has worked tirelessly and collaboratively on every aspect of the film, from schedule, score, mix, edit, and of course the budget. Blake pushed us all to screen the movie several times in front of test audiences and dove into every card and every detail of the findings to improve the movie. On the marketing and distribution front, Blake has been an incredible partner. She has been involved in every decision when it comes to dating the movie and determining the release pattern, as well as our international efforts. She might be the best marketer of any producer I have worked with in my 25-year career.
Oh, so this is Greenstein.
Yes.
Incredible.
Even way better than her husband. We have marketing calls daily, and I'm continually surprised and impressed with her grasp and mastery of the marketplace and the audience. She pushed us to make the trailer great, got us a Taylor Swift song, and helped launch the trailer to one of the biggest trailer debuts we have ever seen. I could go on, but I strongly feel Blake is the definition of what being a producer is all about, and I implore you to give her the PGA mark. Best, Josh Greenstein, president of Sony Motion Picture Group.
Honestly, like Blake Lively's letter could have been a little more like that.
Yeah.
She could have been like, I was in deep. Like,
do you want to hear Colleen Hoover's?
Like, you know, she almost like posted her call sheets. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. To whom it may concern, my name is Colleen Hoover, author of the novel It Ends With Us, and executive producer on the film adaptation by the same name. I'm writing to recommend Blake Lively be recognized as a producer on the film It Ends With Us. I've witnessed firsthand Blake's heavy involvement on the film in every stage, from rewriting the early script to having major input during the production phase. Blake has been extremely sensitive to the source material, so much so that she has personally ensured that I have input and firsthand experience during the various stages of production.
Unlike some people I know.
Well, so that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because she said that she felt shut out by
She was shut out.
And also, a big criticism of Blake Lively was that she didn't read the book, so she didn't care about the source material.
I love that she and her...
Colleen Hoover is saying that she absolutely did.
Well, that's... I guess, I don't know what Colleen Hoover...
Colleen Hoover says that she cared about the source material, is my point.
Yeah, she might have, but she didn't read the book.
Yeah. Right.
Because she said she didn't in her deposition. She said her process.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying that the criticism was that she didn't read the book, meaning she doesn't care about the source material. And Colleen Hoover is saying it's not true. Let's see. Blake has been extremely sensitive to the source material, so much so that she has personally ensured that I have input and firsthand experience during the various stages of production. Because of this, I was able to meet and chat with her in pre-production, and I was able to witness in production how hands-on she was with each scene. But it is in the post-production phase where I had the most time with her and personally witnessed how much of her effort went into the completion of the film.
This is Giannetti?
No, this is Colleen Hoover.
Oh, this is Hoover, that's right.
She spent weeks and countless hours and late nights editing, and as of this letter, continues to do so while she's working to lock in sound. I was with her during many of those 16-plus hour days and personally watched her painstakingly go through every frame of the entire movie, ensuring it became the project we hoped it could be. She has also worked so hard on preparing this film for promotion and was able to edit a cut in time to be viewed at a charity event in Dallas this past weekend, where over 2,500 people were in attendance. God. She herself showed up and personally spoke to each of the 10 theaters full of people to welcome them and let them know how much this film means to her and how much of her heart has gone into the making of this film. She is not simply an executive producer or an actress in this film, because without Blake's effort, input, care, and hard work on the development of this film in all of its phases, I am positive It Ends With Us would not be of the same quality it currently is. I believe her role as a producer on this film should be recognized, and as the author of the book, it has been an honor to be on this journey with her and be able to witness firsthand her passion for this entire project. Sincerely, Colleen Hoover.
Nice letter, very succinct.
I bet that really bothers
Justin Baldoni?
Yes.
Yeah, well, because she takes an indirect dig at him.
That was his friend. That was his friend first.
Well, she also takes an indirect dig at him because she's like, and she actually let me fucking in on the action.
Okay, you asked for Ange Giannetti?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's this one.
Give me Ange Giannetti, motherfuckers. I don't know why I'm swearing. I'm cursing.
I know. I do it all the time, too. To the Producers Guild of America, my name is Andrea Giannetti. I'm an EVP.
Oh, Andrea.
Andrea. She goes by Ange.
I know.
I don't understand why.
Weird, right?
Because she wants to have my name. She doesn't have my name. She has Andrea for a name. I've been mistaken for Andrea my whole life because
do you like Andrea more than Angela, or you think they're both equal, or what?
I probably would have preferred Andrea.
Really?
I don't think Angela is a very nice name.
Do people go by Drea when they're Andrea?
Oh yeah, Drea De Matteo does.
Oh right, yeah.
Okay, listen.
I am listening.
My name is Andrea Gianetti. I am an EVP at Columbia Pictures and have supervised over 70 films during my 34 years working for the studio. I'm writing this letter to ask you to please grant the PGA mark to Blake Lively for her producing role on It Ends With Us. Columbia Pictures is distributing It Ends With Us and is an investor in the film. Wayfarer Studios is the financier and responsible for overseeing all aspects of making the film. Given Columbia's role as distributor, I was not asked to participate in the PGA mark process. However, since Blake has recently been given the producer credit by Wayfarer Studios, I want to share my personal experience of Blake's work on the film with the PGA.
Let's hear it, you two-faced, fucking conniving, fucking lying right? Studio executive you.
Blake signed on to star in It Ends With Us in late December 2022. Blake jumped in immediately with Wayfarer, the director, and producers to start the pre-production process of assembling crew, locations, wardrobe, scheduling, etc. My early role was primarily focused on script and cast. Blake rightly knew the script still needed work. So Justin Baldoni was critical of Ryan for saying that, but here's Ange Gianetti with all of her experience saying the same. In addition to all the pre-production work she was doing, she worked diligently for weeks on end to make sure that we had the script that we could all be proud of and that fans of the book would love. Her years of experience, creativity, and skill as a filmmaker elevated the screenplay in every way. She contributed to casting lists and poured through hundreds of casting tapes, working side by side with the director and her fellow producers to assemble an incredible supporting cast. When faced with production issues such as short days or difficult locations, it was likely Blake who would find the solves either on set and or in the script so we could make the tight shooting days and to stay on budget. Her hard work, incredible taste, skills, and creative contributions can be seen throughout the process to bring this film to the screen. From script, casting, wardrobe, set design, blocking, right down to COVID safety protocols for the crew, ! Plus, as a fun side note, she found the best snacks, bites, eats, cinnamon buns in any town we were shooting in and brought them to set. That's pretty huge. That's like the most impressive thing I've heard so far.
We don't forget. She brought us Cinnabon.
In post, Blake's commitment to the movie has been inspiring. She has worked tirelessly from many different time zones through all of post to make the best cut of the movie possible. After each preview, she read every single card and poured through the research reports, finding many of the solves we needed. Likewise, her contributions to other...
It's so interesting she doesn't want to use the word solution.
I don't understand it either.
It's like a really good word.
I know.
It's one we're all used to using. You don't sound like you're speaking proper English.
I know. Likewise, her contributions to all other aspects of post, from score, song choices, the mix, color timing, and more, have all been immeasurable and invaluable. Simply put, Blake's producing contributions to It Ends With Us is in every single frame of this movie, and she should be recognized for it by the PGA. Respectfully, Andrea Gianetti. Anyway,
oh, so she forgot to leave. She left out the terrorist part.
Yeah.
She completely left the terrorist part out, which is just so surprising. You'd think she'd have the terrorist part in there.
Anyway, they're all like that. Praise and praise and praise.
And I said, Baldoni, don't even give us black coffee. she immediately retracted it, but I liked it very much. It was very funny.
All right. I can't believe the nerve. I can't believe that Jamie Heath said that it was unreasonable and cold-hearted.
Cold-hearted?
You're such a baby.
Yeah, it's just so weird because like they gave her the producing credit. I had to fight for my producing credit. It's so funny because people are like, you should be relating to Justin Baldoni. I mean, I didn't actually have to fight for my producing credit because I had people who fought for me for my producing credit because I fucking produced the Don's Plum from top to fucking bottom, frame by damn frame. And, but there was people, like Jamie Heath, David Stopman was like, I'm not giving him that. I'm not giving him that. Fuck you. You're not giving him. I guess if you read the book, but, I ended up getting it. Didn't I?
Didn't I? Yeah, Blake Lively got it.
Yeah, look at my subscribe button. There it is. You see that? I don't think I pushed it all live.
Okay, and the next thing I have for you today.
Yes.
Was the intimacy coordinator deposition.
I wonder how Jamie Heath got his PGA credit. Because this was his first movie, right?
Yep.
So how did he get a PGA?
Well, they applied for it earlier in the process because he was a producer from the start. She hadn't become a producer until the end. So
So this
she couldn't-
motherfucker is his first movie.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you, Kiki, for throwing that out there, because I think I remember hearing that, but thank you for reminding us that. So this was his first movie
Yeah.
that he ever fucking produced. And he
Yeah.
is the threshold guardian to PGA.
Yeah, it's just infuriating, isn't
It's
it?
the most. It shows you how much of an amateur this motherfucker
Well,
is.
it shows you
this guy had no humility or ability. Because one of the strongest attributes of anybody young in any position, any baby writer, baby producer, baby director, especially when you're in that like big spot, you know, where you're in
They
that
feel
big
like an
spot.
expert.
Yeah. Well, not where they feel like an expert. I'm saying like the best, the best conduct by an individual who's new in those situations, baby writers, producers, etc., is to sit back and listen and look for guidance and mentorship. Like I looked for mentorship around every fucking corner. I still do. I'm 56 years old. I still look for mentors. Because like what better
You have to. Yeah.
what better a fucking opportunity is it when you have somebody who can mentor you through some of the more difficult decisions that you make. And the coolest thing about mentors, and I don't know if they're used necessarily to their full extent by a lot of people, because the coolest thing about them that I use them for is I use them as a means to balance my own thoughts, right? Because I'm in a spot or whatever, I'm working and there are conditions or, variables. And then I go and I call the mentor or I email the mentor, or maybe if I'm lucky enough.
That's what Justin Baldoni uses Jamie Heath for.
Okay, but
they're both
if you're
diligent.
going to choose a mentor, try not to choose the guy who has the same amount of experience as you.
Yeah. Right.
Like you might want to have a mentor that's been around a bit. Like Alex Sachs is a legit mentor, 22 films produced. And she would be more of a mentor than, say, Ange Giannetti, because Ange Giannetti is an executive producer for the studio, following a totally different production protocol.
Yeah, but still, wouldn't you want to learn everything she has to know too?
Well, but not necessarily as a means to get a PGA credit. No.
Right.
Or if you're in the creative side of the business, then no, she's not the person you're going to want to mentor. And I'm really strong on that. Like, pick your mentors wisely, because it's a hard job, man. I mean, it's a lot of work.
I think my two big takeaways from this are that Blake Lively is a machine. I can't believe that she did all of those things. Like that she worked so much, so hard. I can't believe it. Like, she's the busiest. You don't think that's impressive?
I think that is impressive.
Yeah.
I think it's very impressive.
And my other thought is that Jamie Heath getting the PGA and then immediately, so he climbed the ladder and then pulled it up behind him. So he got his PGA mark and then was like, absolute no to Blake Lively. Why do you think Jamie Heath believes that she took control of the film?
Gig's comment can stand. You can put Gig's comment back. There's nothing wrong with that comment. Go ahead. Say again.
Do you want to move on, or should we talk about this some more?
What did you just say? I want to react to what you just said.
I don't remember.
It's gone forever.
I was just talking to myself anyway.
I'm dealing with the chat. Okay? We're all working here. Okay? Not just you. Anyway, yeah. So that's Ange Giannetti's. Who else you got?
Oh, well, there's a dozen people, but I don't think we need to.
Well,
I was going to move on to the
Can you
intimacy coordinator.
We only have 20
deposition.
minutes left, so yeah, we should.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
This is Liz
Talbot.
I call her Lizzy, but Liz Talbot.
Elizabeth Talbot is the intimacy coordinator on It Ends With Us. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, first question. Are you familiar with this document? Have you seen it before? Yes, to both questions. Have you read it before today's? Yes. Does SAG require the use of intimacy coordinators, or is it suggested or recommended if you know? Liz Talbot says, prior to the agreements, I think in November 2023, it was a recommendation. Post that, it is best efforts. I'm not sure who this attorney is, but the attorney says, which agreement are you referring to? Liz Talbot says it's the agreement that was sorted out in November 2023, post the writer's strike and the actor's strike. Oh, okay. So this is the agreement that the 17 points that Blake Lively is saying that for her to return to work, there needs to be an intimacy coordinator on set at all times.
Yeah.
Question. When prior to November of 2023, what was your understanding of when it was recommended that an intimacy coordinator be on set? And Liz Talbot says, for scenes of simulated sex and nudity. Question. And do you know if SAG defines nudity? And Talbot says, so nudity for us is defined as anything that would be seen underneath a bikini for a female and underneath a pair of Speedos for a male.
Ass and balls.
Are we seeing cracks?
Are there any cracks?
Question. And prior to November of 2023, was an intimacy coordinator required to be on set for kissing scenes? She said no. And that's all we see of that. This skips several pages. The answer that we see cut into says, and I believe I had a conversation with Justin's assistant who added in Blake's assistant. And that's how we navigated the time for the call. Okay. Question. So at some point in early May, you had a phone call with Blake Lively, correct? Okay. And was anyone else on the call? She said yes. Who was that? Lindsay. Who is that? Liz Talbot says, a lawyer for Blake. Do you know her last name? And Liz says, Strasberg, I believe, or something to that effect. Question. And do you recall what was discussed during that call? Talbot says, yes, I started on the phone with Lindsay. We had a conversation because I think she recognized me and I potentially recognized her from another project. Either we had worked with the same actor or there was some familiarity between us. So we were on the call together first and then Blake joined. We discussed Wrexham Football Club because I grew up in Wales. And then we started to discuss what my role was because she had not worked with an intimacy coordinator before. She described some previous scenes in her career where she had felt unsafe. And then I asked, Attorney Herman is speaking up. Oh, I guess that's the end of her answer. So, and then I asked. So Attorney Herman says, comfort level, her boundaries. I guess that's who's deposing her. Comfort level, her boundaries, and said that I was going to send her Justin's vision. This transcript is strange. Well, I don't know why it says Attorney Herman as if somebody else is speaking, but this reads like it's still her answer.
Okay.
So that's very weird. Okay, so I'm just going to read it through. Liz Talbot says, and then I asked, comfort level, her boundaries, and said that I was going to send her Justin's vision and ask for those scenes that would be within her consent and boundaries. And then I was going to remove anything that was not, and that I was going to provide her with nudity rider language and to contact me if she needed or wanted anything else. Question. Did you ever contact to say she needed, did she ever contact you to say she needed or wanted anything else? She said no. When she referred to feeling unsafe in scenes on other projects or prior projects, did she specify what those projects were? And Liz Talbot says no. Did she specify why she felt unsafe? And Liz Talbot says, not that I recall in specifics, but I would say that that is a common refrain from many actors that previously they had had negative experiences with these scenes. Question. Did she tell you what her comfort level was with respect to intimate scenes? And Liz says, correct. We talked about what she was happy to show, what she did not want to show, the extent of touching during those scenes, specifically in regards to Justin's request here in the email. And next question is, and what did she say her comfort level was in terms of what she would show and would not show? Liz Talbot said, we talked about, I believe it's in the nudity rider language, so I believe it is no nudity that would be seen underneath a bikini. And in terms of simulated sex, there was to be no simulated oral sex, either implied or actual. And then there was to be no touching of breast or groin area.
Hands off, motherfucker.
Okay, and the attorney says, and what about orgasms? Liz Talbot says, that was not discussed because, well, I don't recall discussing that because I believe that was not in the request at this point.
There was no scenes.
And the attorney says, Justin didn't request that. And Liz Talbot said, not in, I would have to refer to this, but it is not something that I brought up with her because I believe it to be off the table at that time. Okay. This is, please take a look at Exhibit 12. Before we get to 12, I'm just going to ask you some questions that don't pertain to this document. This is going to cut off in a second. Prior to meeting with or speaking with Blake on April 5th, did you request to meet with her or speak with her any earlier than that, if you recall, earlier than May 5th? And she said yes. But I don't I don't get to see for 7 more pages. It cuts off. Okay. Okay. Next page we see is the birth scene one of those 5 here? She says, no, it's not. Question, have you seen the movie? She says, yes. Okay. And Liz Talbot says, oh, this movie? And the attorney says, this movie, it ends with us. And she goes, not in its entirety, pieces of it. Okay, have you seen the birthing scene? And Liz says, I have seen the birthing scene. Do you recall any nudity in that? If you recall, and Liz says, I don't recall any nudity. There was a high hip line that may have been called profile nudity to an extent, and that some actors would require a request a nudity writer for. Do you know if Blake requested that? And she says, no, that was not in our discussion. Okay. Several pages later.
Well, it wasn't until later that she was asked to be naked.
Yeah, like on set.
Unless I'm mistaken.
Which wouldn't have come up in the prior discussion. Okay. To your knowledge, are you aware of any, like, did you see anything and say, hey, we should have this safeguard in place and it wasn't there? And Liz Talbot says the birthing scene could potentially have had a profile nudity writer below the waist for profile nudity below the waist. Again, that's from a very quick viewing of what ended up on film, and I cannot say with any concrete evidence not being there of what else needed one. Okay. Many pages later. These are just chunks because these are...
That's cool.
These are being cited in depositions, I guess, or for some reason. Okay, this answer that's, I don't know what it's answering to, but it's a long answer. She says, that's sometimes, again, with the actor who was in a tube top and sweatpants looking in the mirror. No, they're fully clothed at that point. There may be times where an actor is wearing a stick-on bra, for example, where you may have a naked back, and we might close the set for an actor's comfort at that point. Again, this is a very nuanced job with everyone having a very different experience and comfort level, and various factors play into this role. The only real hard and fast rules that we have are the nudity writer and the simulated, as in the nudity writer that includes the simulated sex and nudity.
It's part of why she wanted an IC on the set, was because it was dynamic, and probably because she wasn't sure how she was feeling about it through the process.
And if Baldoni keeps making suggestions, remember it was the second shoot where all of the sex scenes were supposed to happen, because Blake Lively from the beginning was saying, I'm going to lose more weight before we get to this end of the shoot. And then there was even more delay with the strikes. So they had left it all until the end. And so she was like, I'm not going to return to work until there's an IC on set all the time for these scenes, because he's going to keep making suggestions and making people uncomfortable and not having a closed set and all this other bullshit. Okay. If you could also turn to the exhibit marked 39 by Defendant's Counsel, which is the quick guide for scenes involving nudity and simulated sex. I'm looking at page 1. Please let me know when you're ready with that. There's 4 bullet points there. Do you see those? She said yes. And one of them is a requirement for appropriate notice of nudity in simulated sex. She says, Okay, and that applies for a role. And I believe that you mentioned earlier that it is the responsibility of the director to notify an intimacy coordinator as soon as they envision a scene that would include either simulated sex or nudity. She says, yes. If it's a new one that they are introducing or a new element of the scene that they are introducing, yes. Okay. Question. On that page at the 3rd bullet point, there's a requirement for writers that outline the parameters of nudity and simulated sex, correct? She says, correct. And if you turn to page 3, please, it states, in quotes, a performer's performance or depiction in a scene requiring nudity or simulated sex acts is conditioned on their prior written consent, which should take the form of a rider attached to their contract. Do you see that? She said, yes, correct. And this does say performance or depiction in a scene requiring nudity, correct? She said depiction of the simulated sex acts. The attorney says, it says here, in quotes, a performer's performance or depiction in the scene requiring nudity or simulated sex, correct? She said, yes, correct. And you set that aside. He said, you can set that aside. Before you signed on to It Ends With Us, had you worked with Wayfarer before? That's weird. So they just had her read what's on a document, I guess, to get it in the record? I don't understand. But this question is, before you signed on to It Ends With Us, had you worked with Wayfarer before? And she said, with Wayfarer, no. Had you worked with Mr. Baldoni before? She said, no. Mr. Heath, no. Have you worked with him before? She said, sorry, no. Was that a no? Correct. Had you worked with Mr. Sarowitz before? That gets cut off. We don't see the answer, but it's probably no.
It's a no. Yeah, she worked with Sarowitz on the Baha'i set one where they were having,
simulated sex in the Baha'i videos.
Like fucking slapping sex.
Okay. So here's another document. I guess it's Exhibit 41. Look through it to familiarize yourself with the nature of what it is, not the substantive content of each page. But if counsel's going to ask you about a particular page, you can take time to review the page as we get to it. Exhibit 41 is an email, and that's an email from Jill Sacco to you dated March 4th, 2023, right? And Liz says correct. And the first line of this email reads, I've attached a watermarked script for you to read. Do you see that? She says yes. Mm-hmm. And the attachment to the email appears to be a script for It Ends With Us dated March 3rd, 2023, correct? She says correct. Did you review the script when you received it in March or around that time? She said yes. Did you review the entire script or just specific scenes? Liz Talbot says, when she sent me the script, I read the script, but there were also, either prior to this or shortly after, there were 2 scenes that were attached in an email. I believe that this was the one with the whole script in it. Okay, you can set that aside for now. If you could just keep in, okay, there's a big jump. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Come on.
I know. I'm trying to keep track of these page numbers. Okay. This next answer is, I don't know what the question was, but here we go. It's actually something, Liz Talbot says, no, it's actually something that we try and stay away from, quite honestly. One, because it's often not that realistic in terms of scenes of female gaze that he was after. So we often try and stay away from simultaneous orgasms. She says because it's often not that realistic in terms of scenes of female gaze that he was after.
It's stupid 9.5 weeks bullshit.
So we often try and stay away from simultaneous orgasms. And again, that's a question that male directors will ask a lot. They'll often say, oh, they should come together. And if they are after the female gaze, we might offer an alternative. That's so weird. Question. Did Mr. Baldoni suggest to you that the character should simultaneously climax? And Liz Talbot says, I don't recall him saying that specifically, but again, I would have said, if you're doing this for the female gaze, you may rethink that. If you're doing it for the female gaze and authentically, you may want to rethink that. Question. In your conversation with Mr. Baldoni, did you offer as an opinion that Mr. Baldoni's character and Miss Lively's character should engage in simulated oral sex? And Liz Talbot says, again, clarifying question. What happens here? It's not a suggestion, oh, you should do this. It's what is happening here? Is it this? The script is indicating this. Is this your vision? Is this what you're hoping to achieve? Question. So the script had indicated potentially simulated oral sex, correct? She said correct. And you were asking a clarifying question about whether that would be included, and if so, how? And Liz Talbot says correct, because it's a call back to the book where there is definitely implied oral sex going on, and it's a very similar scene. So again, a clarifying question as to whether this is the same. Are we trying to recreate that scene even if it's not explained in the script particularly clearly that that's going on? Because again, as I said, that scene in the script didn't make sense as written. The eyes rolling back in the head seem to suggest orgasm. Is that what we want to see on screen? He wrote, someone's eyes rolling back
into their head.
Yes. Has that ever happened to you?
Have you all the time, every time.
Have you ever seen one of your?
Sometimes I just go cross-eyed. I just go, oh.
If somebody's eyes rolled back, I'd be like, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah, it would be like, oh my God.
That's never happened.
He died happy.
Eyes rolling back. Come on,
man.
That script was written by somebody who has never done it. Okay. Several pages skipped. What happened?
Delicate's been super busy and hasn't been around all week.
Oh, nice.
And when she's not around, our numbers are down. Oh. So we have to
She brings a whole posse. That's great.
Hi, Delicate. Hi, Delicate, said scientist. No, she's just been super busy. So she popped in to said, I'm still here and I'm alive. She is, she's an amazing supporter of this live and of the Patreon,
I hope everything's
by the way.
going well. out there in the world,
As well.
the busy world. Okay. This question from several pages after. Attorney says, and it says here, in quotes, please find attached official clean white production draft as of April 5th, 2023 for It Ends With Us, correct? She says yes. If you turn to the attachment, please, the first page is titled Screenplay for It Ends With Us, and it's the white production draft dated April 5th, 2023. If you could please turn to page 47. Do you recall after you signed on to the film receiving a version of the script that included additional sexual content? Liz Talbot says, yes, this is a script I would have received, and again, the changes have been made. Question. So I'll just ask my question one more time so we have an answer. Do you recall after you signed on to the film that you received a version of the script that included additional sexual content that was not included in the original version you received? Just generally, she's asking about if it's from page 47, and the attorney says, just generally, do you recall as you sit here receiving a version of the script that included additional sexual content that was not included in the original version you received? Liz Talbot says, I'd have to check. I don't know if I would categorically say one way or the other without reviewing it. If you turn to page 47 now, towards the bottom of the page, there's a bold heading that says bedroom. Do you see that? She says yes. This scene reads, in quotes, where Lily turns, pressing her mouth against his, and then throws him on the bed on all fours. Lily playfully crawls up his body, mounting him, her hand lacing behind his neck as she pulls him up in a seated position, the two now entangled. Do you see that? She says yes. If you go to the next paragraph, it reads, with strong arms in one swoop, Ryle plants. And then we don't get to see where that goes. I'm like invested in the story. What happens next?
Screenwriting, bro. It's not. It's tough, man. Because it's interesting because you can write it like poorly and then it can show up on screen really well. Because,
or in a deposition.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize this deposition was so choppy. I got so spoiled with the Justin Baldoni one. We could just go all the way
just
through.
said, no woman wrote that. No. No, I agree with you. I just don't.
Mounting him? Come on.
Mounting him?
Okay, so her answer here is cut into.
Although Colleen Hoover is a constant like inside me person.
Yes, she writes in terms about sex that are very like literal.
Yeah.
And it's really off-putting for me. I'm like, what do you mean? That's not a creative way to say that. Okay. I don't know what this question was, and the answer gets cut off, but maybe there's something in it. Liz Talbot is saying, have gone through complaints against other actors, complaints against various members of the casting crew, so I'm pretty careful about what to keep on record and what I get rid of. Question. Okay, so other than the documents that you provided to your counsel, you don't have notes regarding your conversations with Mr. Baldoni or Miss Lively? She said, correct. Do you recall at some point in April of 2023, Mr. Heath providing you with a list of scenes in the script that he deemed to involve intimacy? And she said, yes, I believe AJ provided that. Who is AJ? And Liz Talbot says, that is Mr. Baldoni's assistant. Is that AJ Marbury? And she said, yes, I think so. We'll introduce Exhibit 43, which is a document ending in this catalog number marked for identification. Before I ask you about document 43, actually, one more question about April 2023 script. Did you suggest to Mr. Baldoni that he included in the script oral sex? She said no. Okay, please turn to Exhibit 43. Take a minute to read it and let me know when you're ready. This is an email from Mr. Heath to you dated May 4th, 2023, correct? Yes. Mr. Heath had compiled in this email scenes that, as he writes, in quotes, have any sort of intimacy, correct? And she says, any sort, yes. This list includes scenes with, in quotes, undressing, for example, numbers 11 and A42. She goes, yes. It includes scene 38, which involves, in quotes, kissing and grinding, right? She said yes. And it includes a number of scenes involving numbers C42, 63, 74, 79, and 97 that involve kissing. She said correct. The birth scene is not on this list, correct? She says correct. And this list also, it doesn't include a scene in which Mr. Baldoni and Miss Lively's characters are dancing, correct? She says correct. You can see that you can set that exhibit aside. Are you familiar with the scene in which Mr. Baldoni and Miss Lively's characters are depicted dancing? And Liz Talbot said only from the media presence surrounding it. Okay. And you're familiar with the scene in which Miss Lively's character gave birth? She says yes, correct. And fair to say that you understood that birth scene was not to involve nudity? And she says, correct. Otherwise, there would have been a nudity rider. Do you understand whether the birth scene would involve partial nudity? I believe you mentioned earlier a high hip profile. And he gets an
Right out of the fucking manual.
Objection to the form. Sorry, you can answer. And the witness says, sorry. And then he says, I'll rephrase. Attorney Roser. I don't know the gender of this person. Did you understand before the birth scene was filmed that it would involve a high hip profile? She said, no. Can you explain what a high hip profile means? She said, yes. So do you remember I was dividing the body up into 4? She said, yes. Front and rear. So in addition to that, Liz Talbot says, we also occasionally talk about profile nudity. So, for example, above the waist, it may be that you see profile breast, but not nipple. And at that point, we would typically require a nudity rider because we're seeing something that would be outside of a bikini. We, for some reason, are missing a single page, but she is answering on this next page. She goes, padded thong. That is typically what we would give people for a scene of missionary. And what you would see is 2 people like this, and she's indicating. How she's indicating in the deposition, I don't know.
It's missionary, so.
Yeah. I don't think that's how it goes.
No.
Dale's never done it before, so.
It's new to me.
Liz Talbot continues. And what you would see is 2 people like this, indicating. However, there's a barrier in between them because you have that padded strapless thong on. What you do not have is anything around the waist. Does that make sense? The attorney says yes. Liz Talbot continues. So if you're not wearing anything around the waist, we don't yet have bikinis that are attached at the front and the back only. That is something that we can use as intimacy coordinators in our world of terminology that we're restricted to by bikinis. Question. Mr. Baldoni never shared with you that he intended the birthing scene to include profile nudity, right? And Liz Talbot says, my understanding is that she was going to be in a hospital robe. Very interesting. This is very bad for him.
Yeah, can you start that over? Splishness is dropping paragraphs, and I got caught up in it. Do it again.
Am I being upstaged by the chat?
No, you're not.
I wouldn't mind if I was.
The chat is loving what you're reading.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Keep it coming.
Mr. Baldoni never shared with you that he intended the birth scene to include profile nudity, right? And Liz Talbot said, my understanding is that she was going to be in a hospital robe. Question. So he did not share with you that it might include... sorry, the attorneys are arguing.
They're actually physically fighting.
Indicating. Mr. Baldoni did not share with you that he intended the birth scene to include profile nudity. She said, correct. Question. You understand that Miss Lively would be in a hospital gown in the birth scene? She said, correct. If you understood that the birth scene was going to include profile nudity, would you have discussed the scene with Miss Lively? She said, yes. And would you have requested to be there that day? And Liz Talbot said, if it involved a nudity rider, I would have said, absolutely, I should be there.
Not good for you, buddy.
So bad for him. Question. During the phone call with Miss Lively and her counsel on May 5th, you discussed what kinds of intimacy Miss Lively would be comfortable with, right? And she said, correct. Did you discuss whether she would be comfortable with open mouth kissing? And Liz Talbot said, we discussed that there was to be no tongue during kissing. But that is also something that I had been brought up previously with Mr. Baldoni as a question that I had shut down and said there was to be no tongue during kissing. Wow. He was like, can I tongue her?
He's like, what about, because like I have it's a habit.
Do it French
it's a habit.
style?
Like I kissed my mom goodbye the other day. It's
Oh
just
my
a habit.
God.
Her mouth opened up a little bit, and I just like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It's just a habit.
Probed right in there.
So what if my habit kicks in?
Wow. Liz Talbot continues, because that's typically, we often just don't need it unless it is specified in the script that there is like a lick or something like that. Our standard understanding of kissing is that it can be open mouth, but it can't be with tongue.
Yeah.
Question. But Miss Lively shared with you that she was not comfortable with tongue? And Liz Talbot said, correct.
For sure. You're not penetrating me, buddy, with anything.
Did she also express that she was not comfortable with simulated oral sex? She said, correct. I believe that had been taken, had been again taken off the table, but I would have confirmed that with her. Miss Lively confirmed that she was not comfortable with simulated or inferred oral sex, correct? And Liz Talbot said, you will see in my email to her that that is crossed out. Okay. This picks up several more pages later.
Splishna says, you guys, I got it. What if it's been a misunderstanding and with Justin this whole time? He wasn't saying female gaze. He was saying female gaze. As in lesbians.
Gays?
Like he wanted to play...
He wanted to make the movie with a bunch of straight romance for the
That's why his sex scene is so
gays.
cringy, because like that's the way, because he wants that, because that way the lesbians watching it would be like, oh, thank God I'm not straight.
Oh, thank God I'm not. It's so affirming, guys. It's the most affirming film.
That's hilarious.
That's really great.
Thank God I'm not straight. God.
Okay, we're going to introduce Exhibit 44, which is a document. This is a parent email and attachment as one exhibit. He's just talking about the catalog numbers. This is an email from It Ends With Us to you, dated May 19th, 2023, correct? She said yes. And it attaches a call sheet for day 6 of shooting for Monday, May 22nd, 2023. This is the birthing scene, okay?
I'm so sorry. Yes.
Correct. The call sheet includes scene 106, which is the birth scene. Correct? She says correct. Wafer did not call you to be on set for that scene, correct? She says correct. Correct. The call sheet does not... I just spit on myself. The call sheet does not indicate that the set will be closed for purposes of the birth scene, correct?
Correct.
She says correct. So
correct.
When we do a closed set, we would we would specify the scene for which it would be a closed set. Question. On a call sheet next to the scene, it would include a box or red letters or something that says closed set. She said correct. And can you describe for me what a closed set is for purposes of intimacy and nudity? And Liz Talbot said,
not opened.
She even answers correct when it's just a question posed to her.
Correct.
So for scenes of simulated sex and nudity, Liz Talbot says, a closed set is some... And then she starts again, where we send out closed set protocols, which list exactly what the procedure is for the day. You would potentially have a copy of those. I wouldn't be able to tell you word for word what the closed set protocols were. He's asking generally. She said, but generally. Question. Let me see if this continues. Okay. And generally speaking, closed sets for purposes of intimacy and nudity limit who may be able to be on set during filming of an intimate or nude scene, correct? And she says, for scenes of simulated sex and nudity, yes, there would be a closed set protocols that would specify who needs to be in the room. There's often an addendum that I put onto my closed set protocols because sometimes you're working with animals who may need an animal handler, and that might not be a typical person who would be put on a closed set protocol list. The attorney says, interesting. While we locate the closed set protocols, is it production's responsibility to identify when the set would be closed for purposes of intimacy or nudity? And Liz Talbot says, it's often a collaboration. So for example, I can suggest when scenes might be closed, depending on what the content is and what we're seeing and what we're not seeing. But obviously any scene with simulated sex or nudity is automatically a closed set. Okay. We will introduce Exhibit 45, which is a document. Let's see. This is an email dated June 21st, 2023 from It Ends With Us to you, correct? Yes. And this email includes closed set protocols, right? She said yes. If you look at the attachment, there's a document entitled Closed Set Protocols. Do you see that? She does. It has your name in the corner, Lizzy Elizabeth Talbot. Is this closed set protocol a document that you created? Liz Talbot said, yes, this is based on the original HBO closed set protocols. This is not a document I would send today. My document that I send out now is longer than this and a bit more restrictive. But again, that's because over time, as we've done more and more of these scenes, we're encountering slightly different things because productions vary so much that we would add things into this that potentially may not have been there in 2023. A question, protocols for a closed set have changed over time? She said, yes, I would say, this is accurate for 2023, but if you showed this to someone in 2025, I would expect to see more things on there. Question, the protocols for closed set include all outside monitors being turned off, correct? She says correct. And it also includes that the director and DEP, so director of photography, I guess, DP.
I think that's supposed to be DP.
Yeah. And it also includes that the director and DP monitor be covered by a tent or with flags, correct? She says correct. The protocols also include that a list of who will be at the monitor be communicated to the actors before the scene, correct? She says correct. In other words, actors involved in intimate or nudity scenes should understand who is on set while they're performing their scenes. And Liz Talbot said yes. So that would be communicated to actors, and it may even be something like, just so you know, people on the monitors are going to be XYZ. And I've had actors who have opinions about who those people are, whether they want additional people, because sometimes they want additional people, whether that's reps who are visiting for the day, whether that's, you'll see here that additional support personnel, so they may also be on the list. Question, additional support personnel for the actors involved in this scene? She said correct. In the event of a closed set, again, for intimate or nudity scenes, there would also be members of the costume department on set, for example, to ensure that actors were covered during breaks. She said correct. And non-essential personnel would be asked to leave set when there is a closed set due to intimacy or nudity. She said correct.
Like Steve Sarowitz, for example.
Yes. In the event of a closed set, access on phones or iPads to what's being shot would also be limited, correct? She says correct. And that's something that would be an additional insert here. Question, and would it also be appropriate for a closed set to collect cameras or recording devices to ensure that no one is recording the scene without the actor's consent? Liz Talbot says, collection doesn't always take place. It's more about putting them away. They are not to be seen. I've worked on certain shows where there is a specific requirement to collect and put aside mobile phones. Or another option that we often use is to hand out stickers because, again, people use phones to communicate so much, whether that's, if there's like a lighting issue, any emergency, we would have some form of communication device. And so one way to manage that is just to put stickers on the cameras. Question, you would hand out stickers? And Liz Talbot says to cover the camera of the phone so that you can still use your phone, but again, you wouldn't be able to have any ability to record. That's, again, different productions work in different ways.
That's how they got like the audio of like Tom Cruise's rant.
Yes, I bet that's why.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. They were like recording it anyway. She says,
well, they had the camera covered, but they just got the audio.
Yeah. She says if you're in a location that maybe, have more safety and that gets cut off. And for some reason, it's skipping just a single page. And here we are again. Question, this is May 22nd, 2023 email that you received from It Ends With Us, correct? She says, yes. This email attaches a call sheet as well as the script pages for day 7 of shooting on May 23rd, 2023. Correct? She says, yes. The call sheet indicates that a dance montage will be filmed on May 23rd, 2023 at scene 40. Correct? She said, yes. Wayfair did not call you for that day, right? She said, correct. And as a result, you were not present for the filming of that dance scene at scene 40? She said, correct. The call sheet does not indicate that, strike that. The attorney says, you understood that scene 40, the dance scene, would not include intimacy. Is that right? Liz Talbot said, I understood it to be a slow dance. My expectation there is that actually there may be a choreographer. And the attorney says, a dance choreographer? And Liz Talbot says, correct. That would be more likely depending on the type of slow dance. Question, did you have an understanding as to whether scene 40 would include any kissing? And Liz Talbot says, there was no mention of kissing. The attorney says, no mention of kissing in the script? She says, correct. From what I see in the on the 40 in the back, they're trying to orient what page it is. Page 50, Lily and Ryle slow dance in the bar. Attorney says, so page 50 of the attachment, scene 40 reads, Lily and Ryle slow dance in the bar, patrons around them drinking and watching sports, completely in their own world, right? She says, correct. No kissing scripted there. Liz Talbot says no. Question, Mr. Baldoni didn't express to you that scene would include kissing? She said no. And you hadn't discussed the dance scene at scene 40 with Miss Lively prior to filming? She said no.
This is bad.
So bad. It's so bad. Also on that call sheet is scene 27, a karaoke scene. Wayfair did not call you for the karaoke scene, correct? She said correct. And as a result, you were not on set for the filming of the karaoke scene? She says correct. And Mr. Baldoni did not express to you that the karaoke scene would include any form of intimacy, including kissing, correct? She says correct. Okay.
That is so bad.
I know. Okay. The attorney says, you can put that document aside. I'll turn now to discussing the intimate scenes involving the actors playing young Lily and young Atlas that you discussed with counsel earlier. You mentioned earlier that at some point Mr. Baldoni had added simulated sex between the characters of young Lily and young Atlas. She says correct. And those characters were under the age of 18? She says correct. At the time that Mr. Baldoni added simulated sex between the characters of young Lily and Atlas, the actors portraying those characters did not have executed nudity writers. She says she's asking for it or for a repeat. When you learned that Mr. Baldoni was going to add simulated sex to the scenes between young Lily and young Atlas, did the actors portraying those characters have nudity writers? She said no. Because the question the attorney is asking, because simulated sex between those characters had not previously been included in the script. She said correct. We wouldn't produce nudity writers for the scenes that don't involve simulated sex or nudity. So they were unprotected contractually. And he wrote in a scene
It's super bad.
for them unprotected.
This is super bad. It's super bad to the extent, at least, I don't know that it's super bad because it doesn't prove anything like sexual harassment. But what it does prove is that the 17-point document was necessary.
Yes.
Like that's what it proves. It
does.
proves that the 17-point document, even if you want to be critical of it and say that, she went too deep with it or she went too far or whatever, I don't know what you would do. But, the fundamentals, I mean, there needed to be some kind of confrontation here.
Isn't that weird?
Some kind of like, somebody need to step up and be like, yo.
Okay. I'm just going to continue. This is
like expert commentary about me. Yo.
This drops off for like 5 pages and then picks up. She's answering. So we had a rehearsal on a few days beforehand at mine and Isabella's request, because that's very important, especially when scenes had been added that weren't initially in the script. And I believe I spoke with either Alex first or Isabella first, and I would speak to them separately in person. Question: who attended the rehearsal regarding the simulated sex scenes between Alex and Isabella's characters? Liz Talbot said, so I was present and I spoke to them each individually first, and then we had a conversation together. And then Mr. Baldoni came in and we talked through the scene, and I cannot recall if Jamie Heath was there. Question: do you recall during the rehearsal that Mr. Baldoni added more unscripted intimacy to the scene? And Liz Talbot said yes.
Oh, boy.
So I was a bit surprised when we did the rehearsal, just because, one, the position that had been described was probably more of this sounds again a bit strange, but it's an unusual position for a first time, for a scene portraying the loss of virginity. And the attorney's like, what was the position? And Liz Talbot says, so the position was with the female on top of the male, very close together. Question.
Reverse?
No.
I'm kidding.
It's just
terrible.
Question: Mr. Baldoni wanted the simulated sex scene between young Atlas and young Lily portraying the first time having sex with young Lily's character very closely on top of young Atlas's character.
It's the most ridiculous thing ever.
She said, Liz Talbot said, correct. Initially, it was seated, but I suggested that was probably too extreme for this, and then suggested that if that was the required position, again, maybe it's better if it's in this position. Question: did Mr. Baldoni express that it was important to him to have young Lily's character on top during the intimate scene? And Liz Talbot said that was the position that was requested. Question: Mr. Baldoni requested that young Lily's character be on top during the sex scene in which her character had lost her virginity. And Liz Talbot says correct. Question: and you found
female gaze, people.
And you found that unusual? And Liz Talbot says it's not typical of the position for a scene of losing virginity.
It's just ridiculous.
Question: Mr. Baldoni also added additional nudity to
maybe Mallory from from Natural Born Killers. She might be like, take it out that way.
That makes no sense. Okay. Mr. Baldoni also added additional nudity to the simulated sex scenes between young Lily and young Atlas, correct, during a rehearsal? And Liz Talbot says, I don't recall if there was nudity. I know that we went down to underwear, and it was very specific that this underwear needed to be full coverage. Sorry. And I was very specific that this underwear needed to be full coverage.
Granny panties.
Question: did Mr. Baldoni suggest that the underwear should not be full coverage? And she said, I didn't let that suggestion happen. As in, and then they're interrupting each other.
Yeah, I would imagine I would object to that.
Did you perceive that he might want? And then she didn't finish her answer, so he says, go ahead. Liz Talbot says, so I made the suggestion very clear at the beginning that there was to be full coverage underwear. Question: was it your impression that Mr. Baldoni wanted young Lily and Atlas to be portrayed wearing less than full coverage underwear? And this gets an objection from Fritz.
It would for sure.
Objection calls for speculation.
Does indeed.
Liz Talbot says, all I can say is that I removed that from ever being on the table by suggesting what I suggested. Question. Why did you feel you needed to strongly suggest that the actors of Young Lily and Young Atlas be in full coverage underwear?
It's her fucking job.
Liz Talbot says, because again, I didn't want them to have any expectation that there was going to be nudity in this scene. Because again, when I spoke to the actors, I was very clear that there was going to be no nudity during the scene. And you can see that reflected in their writers. Question. Did Mr. Baldoni express to you that he wanted that scene to include nudity? And Liz Talbot says, I can't recall in detail. All I know is that in my capacity as intimacy coordinator working with actors who are doing their first time sex scenes, simulated sex scenes, my strong suggestion was to always keep them in underwear.
For sure. It's your first sex scene. Let's go, triple pen. It's like ridiculous.
Was it your impression that Mr. Baldoni wanted Young Atlas and Young Lily, the characters portraying them, to be nude? This gets cut off. We miss like 3 pages only. So here's another answer that gets cut into. So Liz Talbot continues. So partial nudity would be maybe nudity above the waist. So that would include, for example, someone who may be a female who may be topless. That would include partial nudity. Full nudity is as in what we would describe as frontal below the waist and frontal above the waist. Question. For Miss Ferrer's character in the scene, did undressing to her underwear include keeping a bra on? She said yes. Okay, they're taking a break.
It's so funny how, it's true. I mean, when Scott Bloom was cupping his junk in front of, it was the most frustrating thing ever. But you can't stop an actor from doing what they need to do to feel comfortable. And he was straight up. He was just I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, fine.
So if you're not going to film the scene, let's do whatever else. But I'm going to hold my junk in front of Jenny Lewis.
Yeah,
I was you just had sex with her, bro. It doesn't make any sense.
Scene, yeah. Well, to me, it looks like he could just be holding it, presenting it, right? Because you can't see it's behind him,
Yeah, but I mean, he was so what'd you really think of the movie, Sarah?
Yeah, so he might just be waggling it around. I don't fucking know.
Some kids wackadoo.
Okay, this question. This is a text exchange between you and Mr. Lambert on June 19th, 2023. This is the day that you rehearsed the simulated sex scenes between Young Atlas and Young Lily. Can we turn to the page ending in this catalog number? Okay, at 4:48 p.m., you sent a text that says, fuck.
Ooh.
And then he's quoting, this is a lot. And then he's quoting, he's asking a lot and so much is unscripted. Mr. Lambert responds in quotes, I know, Finch is talking to me about it now. And goes on, quoting, what is he asking them to do? You respond in quotes, so to undress to underwear. If there's, in all caps, any way for me to be there, please, because this is a ton. Why did you send this message? What prompted it? Liz Talbot says, when we were rehearsing, it became clear that, again, the position on top felt a bit strange. And again, this is where I'm making adjustments in the rehearsal to make sure that, again, she is not seated astride him in a seated position, that we are much closer lying down face to face. So it felt a lot because, again, this was a new ask of an actor. It's not an illegal ask. It's not outside of SAG guidelines. I'm glad that I'm there because, again, I'm being able to facilitate this, as is my job to do. Actors will, and then she corrects herself, directors will ask actors of things. Directors will ask things of actors that may seem extreme or unusual, and it's my job to facilitate that. And you can see me here facilitating this. Question. So during the rehearsal, Mr. Baldoni added a lot of unscripted content to the simulated sex scene between the characters of Young Atlas and Young Lily.
I gotta tell you, man, it's tough. If I was as a filmmaker, if I'm directing a movie, knowing that I have such restrictions around that, because I'm an inspirational based artist. I definitely feel the moment and go with it.
You would never not involve the intimacy coordinator to be a conduit to get the actors to be comfortable with what you're asking of them.
For sure.
Because it's so strange that Baldoni didn't want to incorporate this person all the time, because getting comfort from your actor is what leads to your success as a director.
Of course.
So I don't know why he was trying to pressure her into things or spring
something
on somebody.
It can go both ways. I mean, there are a lot of directors out there who had reputations of being, brutal, and actors are like, I want to be brutalized. Like, it's weird. There's a masochistic side to this whole thing, I think. And
I was just talking about you and how I know that you
yeah,
work.
me, I would definitely, but I just think about like, I would have to have a full time, if I had a movie where there were a lot of sex scenes, or, where that was one of the themes of the movie, which I'd be inclined to make, I would have to
You'd employ one of these people.
I would have to have somebody 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, on the set every hour rather.
So Mr. Baldoni added a lot of unscripted content to the simulated sex scenes between the characters of young Lily and young Atlas and young Lily. She says, correct. This gets cut off, but the question is, do you recall what specifically he added? And then she says, so the scene is an interrupted scene. And this is true. He gets found out. They're in bed together, and then the dad walks in the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets busted taking her virginity.
Yeah, it's not written as in taking her virginity. It's written in her diary. She has like all of the flashbacks in the book. It ends with us are told in these, like, she's journaling her experiences. So she doesn't call it sex. She says they did more than kissing, and there was a lot of heavy breathing. That's all she says about it. Baldoni wanted to film it. It's really brushed over in her journal because she's not going to elaborate. And Colleen Hoover didn't want to elaborate.
How much more do we have on this one?
We're near the end.
Okay, great. We'll go to the end then.
Anyway, that Baldoni wanted it filmed is just strange. But yes, this is a scene where her abusive dad finds out that she's got a boy in her bedroom. And I don't think it doesn't happen. He doesn't get found out while they're having sex, but he's just in her bedroom.
Right.
And he beats the shit out of him and sends him to the hospital. And that's...
Jesus.
I know. It's a really big deal. Well, her dad is like super abusive. That's part of the thing about Lily. Okay. Continuing?
Yeah.
This next question a few pages later says, scene 45 you mentioned was a cookie baking or eating scene. She said, correct. Did that scene, as scripted, involve intimacy between young Atlas and young Lily? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
So Isabella Ferrer said that he wanted her to like seductively lick a spoon.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's so fucked up. And she's like, I'm not doing that.
Why would these?
I'm not blowing a spoon for your fucking movie.
It's
pal.
also like her character. She's an innocent teenager.
It's so fucked
the whole
up.
time she's so virginal and like she's not seductive. It's so weird. Okay, did that scene?
If anything, I would turn that into something comedic if it was going to be like if that was congruent with the character, where she does something that she just highly regrets. It's the stupidest thing ever. He should have just left it alone. And it just shows that his mind was always there. Like his top of mind was always there.
It's just so like, why does he go there instead of her getting some cookie dough on her face and then Atlas very, very sweetly like rubbing it off, and that turns into some sort of like gets their heart rates going. What I mean?
Yeah, but some of the most agreed.
Like I don't understand.
Some
why
of the
it
most
can't
like
be
magical
more sweet.
sort of like I remember when I was a kid, like when I was like in school, there was this girl in my school. Her name was Kelly. She was the most beautiful girl in our school, I thought. And I had skipped out that day, and I threw basically a skipping out party, and everyone at lunch came over to our house, and we'd smoke a little fucking some flower and whatever and hang out. And I'd thrown this party, and this day I was in like sweatpants, a button-down cowboy shirt, a cowboy hat, and it was just all this shit that I'd like laying around in my room that I just kind of threw on, and I looked ridiculous. And I didn't know that Kelly was going to come to my house during my fucking skip-out party, but she showed up, and I was like dressed like ridiculous.
Like, oh my God.
I had like a yellow cowboy shirt on with like, I looked ridiculous.
What do you mean, like embroidery on?
Yeah, it had embroidery on and all that. And this fucking stupid cowboy hat. And I was just being goofy, whatever. And
goofy with your bros, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, because it was all dudes coming over, and Kelly shows up, and this is a girl that I'd like wanted to even look at me once. And
now she's at your house.
Then she goes and she whatever we have it. I feel ridiculous, but I'm in it. It was actually the day that I got introduced to Alice Cooper. Welcome to My Nightmare, as a matter of fact. Anyway, little digression. I find out later, like 2 weeks later, that she thought I was incredibly cute in this outfit.
See?
This is what I'm saying. Like
this is
where this guy and like creativity is missing because his mind is in one spot.
Yeah, he's
because
a
you
horn
point out
dog.
something great. It's not just like you can even take that too far. Like a cookie dough turns into and then now you got thumbs in the mouth. Like
No, because they could have like a little flame of connection if he like wiped her cookie dough sweetly off of her face, like, oh, you got something there.
Yeah.
And then they could giggle about it, which is so intimate between two people
something
who are
quirky,
just starting
something
to date.
stupid, but something that somehow like
Stupid.
stirs the attraction and
I
stirs
know,
the
but
magnetism between the
But
two.
he wants it all to be porno
Yeah.
because he's a fucking creep.
Hey, Cosmic, by the way, could you throw into chat that person you were telling me to look into about Leo and Timothy? I tried to look for it today, but I couldn't find the number. I couldn't find the name. Started with a P, I think. Throw it in the chat because I want to look into this for Mondays at least because I wanted to cover it today, but I couldn't find it.
All right, let me finish this.
Yeah, please.
Question: did that scene, as scripted, involve intimacy between young Atlas and young Lily? And Liz Talbot says, yes, it involved like kissing on the counter. We'd actually walked through that scene in the rehearsal on, I think, the 19th. We had already discussed what that would look like. So we had talked about moments here and there that we would like to see, they had introduced things that they had discovered with themselves. It's important to note here that these two actors, from my point of view and from what they said, were very comfortable with each other. This is not a scene I'm concerned about in terms of these actors working together. We are now entering a typical dynamic between director and actors, as opposed to director and actor. That's interesting. I don't know what that means. She continues. Question: did you have concerns that if you were not on set for the filming of scene 45, that Mr. Baldoni might add additional intimate content that had not been rehearsed previously? And Liz Talbot said, it was a possibility, but again, not from at this time and at this point, it didn't seem like a nefarious thing. It felt more like a sort of new ideas, chaotic on the spot tactic. Let's try that rather than anything sinister from my interactions with him thus far. Question: but at the time, you had the sense that if you were not there for this scene 45, he might add additional intimate content that had not been rehearsed. And Liz Talbot said, I wanted to make sure I was there because these are two actors. Again, this is their first scene with any intimate content, so it's sensible that I'm there. Based on your interactions with Mr. Baldoni to that point, did you have concerns that he would add additional intimate content to that scene that was not rehearsed? She said, it was a possibility. We don't get to see the answer of this because it gets cut off, but the next question is, at 1:09 p.m., you write to Mr. Lambert, in quotes, I forget this isn't normal show situation. What did you mean by that? We don't get to see what she says.
Yeah, what did you mean by that?
Okay, next question, a few pages later. Miss Talbot in Exhibit 49, if you could turn please back to the second page. The message is at 1:08 p.m. At 1:08 p.m., Mr. Lambert wrote, in quotes, and with Justin, I think it's a good idea if you're there. She says correct. Question: he did not say, because of the strike, I think it's a good idea that you're there. He said, because Justin. She said correct. The attorney says, let me see where I am. This is a text exchange between you and Mr. Lambert. This is Exhibit 50. You and Mr. Lambert on June 22nd, 2023. This is the day that the simulated sex between young Atlas and young Lily was filmed. And Liz Talbot said, correct, that was in the evening. Question: on the morning of the 22nd, Mr. Lambert messaged you and says, in quotes, okay, good morning, and you respond, we'll see. Why did you respond that way? And Liz Talbot says, because I knew we had a lot to do that day. I was unconvinced that we would get it all. Why is that? Liz Talbot says, we had 3 big scenes to do, and I thought we would be under significant time pressure to do that. Question: at 10:55 a.m., you message Mr. Lambert and say, OMG, this is wild. He responds, in quotes, what's happening? You say, in quotes, just an entire scene of improv. He goes on, in quotes, haha, yeah. And you respond, in quotes, wowie, now changing all the action. Mr. Lambert says, are you having sex on the counter yet? And you respond, in quotes, give it time. I think we'll throw that in last minute. She says, correct. What prompted you to say the message, OMG, this is wild? Liz Talbot says, this is a scene about making cookies. We had rehearsed it, and it was fairly chaotic with things changing. The attorney says, chaotic in what sense? Liz Talbot says, in that there was some components of the piece. David McKidd was coming in and interrupting. We were hiding Alex. We were placing young Lily on the counter. There was some intimate action there. And again, I can't express enough. This is, again, really mainly regarding like the chaotic nature of filming any scene during the strike. Things that would typically be in place are not really in place. And again, it can be anything down from like, we had an oven on set. The cookies were supposed to come out warm. I think at that point they came out cold. Like there was just a lot of chaotic action. And with that improv, again, it was a lot of Justin going, okay, now this is happening. Now this is happening. And this is happening. And with regards to the intimate action, again, I'm there. I'm on set. I'm navigating that. I'm making sure I make sure that we go through the rehearsal. I'm constantly checking in with these two actors because I want to. Question, was Mr. Baldoni adding intimate action during the cookie scene? And Liz Talbot says, I believe that there was some intimate action that was added, but I will say that's not unusual in this because what we do is we will make sure that we would do that in rehearsal. We make sure that we're choreographing everything appropriately and talking to actors.
Yeah, things are going to change because there's a certain dynamic element to obviously acting and having exchanges, and there's awkwardness that you want to like smooth out or whatever. Or maybe there's something that you realize, is leading, to something, a moment leading to another. And that you want to like either take advantage of it or guide it more specifically in that direction because it got opened up during the intimacy. And this is just, this is a part of why there's a certain amount of latitude, even in that dance scene, in the slow dance scene, where you can allow, obviously, yes, there's slow dancing. So they are in an intimate embrace. And with that, there's opportunity for things to happen improvisationally that on a minor scale shouldn't have, it shouldn't have been controversial.
It's so clear when you see the dance scene that he had not discussed kissing her before they're right there in front of cameras.
It was too far. He went way too far because as soon as you're adding kissing, when you add that, when you're adding the intimate, an intimate connection like kissing or, fondling, groping, these kinds of things, that's when you start crossing lines and you got to start, thinking about, getting consent.
Okay. Liz Talbot, she's talking about the cookie scene. This is her answer.
Delicious cookies.
I believe there was some intimate action that was added, but I will say that's not unusual in this because what we do is we will make sure that we would do that in rehearsal. We make sure that we're choreographing everything appropriately and talking to actors. What is always scripted, again, like obviously, if we can follow the script, that's great, but actors will come up with ideas and suggestions that don't always follow the script. At this point, there's no simulated additional action going on.
What if we actually have a baby? What do you think?
Question, was Mr. Baldoni adding intimate action to the cookie scene that had not been rehearsed? Liz Talbot says, I believe that there was a suggestion of either placing Isabella on the counter or, again, kissing on the counter that may have been extended. Question, did Mr. Baldoni suggest Isabella Miss Ferrer licking batter off of the other actor's finger?
Oh.
And Liz Talbot said yes. I believe, I can't say with 100% certainty, but I do remember a batter situation occurring.
The batter incident.
Do you recall Mr. Baldoni suggesting that Miss Ferrer's character lick batter off of the actor portraying young Atlas's finger while looking up at him?
Oh my God, that's even worse. Do you know that whole Leo DiCaprio, Bob Villard thing was all about him taking these photographs of these kids, these boys, shirtless and looking up at them?
Yeah, Bob Villard would stand over his young child actor clients and take pictures of them from his perspective, standing over them, and they're crouched in front of him.
Sometimes shirtless. Yeah. And for that...
And that's why he was a giant fucking creep.
He was sued for, maybe even, he was actually criminally charged with inappropriate, like some kind of...
It wasn't just for taking the pictures, he was distributing them. And his defense, Bob Villard's defense was, I manage
I'm a talent manager.
Talent, and so I have to share pictures of talent if I'm going to promote them. And people are like, yeah, but you're sharing these pictures with people who are not hiring.
Father Guffrey.
They're not hiring talent.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recall Mr. Baldoni suggesting that Miss Ferrer's character lick batter off of the actor portraying young Atlas's finger while looking up at him? And Liz Talbot says, correct.
That was
I believe she may have been sitting on the counter at that point. And again, this is all things that we can agree on the day. This is me constantly checking in. Question. And again, those are intimate acts that Mr. Baldoni had added after the scene had already been rehearsed. Objection to form. He said, I can clarify. Mr. Baldoni's suggestion that Miss Ferrera's character lick cookie batter off of the other actor's finger and look up at him was not rehearsed. And we don't get to see the answer. 1 page later, it picks up, says, Liz Talbot's in the middle of an answer, says, working together and communicating really well. She continues, as far as I'm concerned, these actors are safe because they're together and I'm watching them communicate. And at no point are they ever expressing discomfort with each other. And for me, that's very important when I'm working with an intimacy coordinator, when I'm working as an intimacy coordinator. Question. Did you expect during this scene that Mr. Baldoni would add further additional sexual content? And she said, I hoped not. Did you expect that he might? And Liz Talbot said, it's a possibility, but it's also something that would not be allowed to happen because that would have been outside the nudity rider. And I would have stepped in immediately at that point to say, this is outside of the nudity rider. We would not be able to do it for that scene. We do not have a nudity rider for the scene currently. Question. You would not have permitted Mr. Baldoni to add additional sexual content to the cookie baking scene, correct? And Liz Talbot says, anything that would require a writer, absolutely not. That would have been a phone call to SAG straight away. Question, but you considered that it might be a possibility that he would attempt to add additional sexual content to the scene? And she said it was possible.
Cause speculation.
And are you aware of Isabella and Alex? Are you aware if Isabella and Alex had executed nudity writers in effect at the time of the scene? She said they both had nudity writers that were sent to their agents, I believe. She says, I think so. Last question. Do you know if they had executed the nudity writers at the time? Liz Talbot says, by that scene, I don't know. I think one of the actors was going to sign on set. And again, as long as they sign before we shoot the scene, so they can sign on set right before we shoot the scene. It doesn't have to be in the beginning of the day, because again, that's our 48 hours. That's where our 48 hours and it gets cut off. So that is all we have of Liz Talbot.
Yeah, I mean, and entirely.
There may be more on the docket that I haven't found, but this is the file that I've got.
Well, what you've read for us, I thought was incredibly damning for him.
Yes,
very, very, very.
Did you expect it to be?
Well, I didn't expect it to, she is, tonally, and maybe this is in part your reading, but tonally she does seem also like this guy was a pest.
Well, her text messages say as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't expect it to be that damning, but oh my God, that's so bad. Everybody's constantly having to manage him, like I imagine Liz Talbot was like the guard on a basketball court,
Yeah.
And he's taller and he's trying to shoot baskets and she's trying to fucking run interference,
Cosmic Energy said something about geese on SNL. I liked geese on SNL. I actually went and saw a couple of their videos back when you first suggested them. And I thought they were okay. But then on the SNL performance, I thought was quite enthralling, engaging. I liked it. I like how they mix genres and the influences are fairly apparent, which is kind of fun because I like the interpretation. He's got a real Tom York thing going, maybe a little, even a little contemporary, more contemporary influence. What's the guy who brings it to church or whatever? Take Me to Church.
Oh yeah, that's what's his name? He's so great.
Hoops Think? No.
Hosier.
Hosier.
Mm-hmm. He takes you to church.
He takes me to church. He's fucking awesome. That guy's totally badass. I was learning a really interesting fingerstyle on the guitar with his for a while. One of his songs. Pretty fun. Is that the end of that?
Yep.
All right, guys, we're going to cut it out without the chat getting too much into the chat because I only have a couple of gigs left before this 2 terabyte drive is full again.
We're just loading it up.
We're just loading up content, people. Well, the good news is that we have we have a fan of the show who has come forward and who is giving us a nice little chunk of money to hire an editor.
Yeah, because you keep talking about it.
I've been talking about an editor.
You're trying to manifest it.
And a fan of the show reached out and said, I'll help you with the editor. So I'm putting an ad in for editors this weekend, and we're going to bring an editor on board.
Fantastic.
That person has asked me not to mention who they are, and I won't. But it's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yes.
Pretty lovely gift for the live, and
they better make me look good.
They
tell you what.
Will.
Or you're out of here.
Ask and you shall receive. So we've got some editing coming and some great stuff for the channel to help grow the channel. And Cosmic Energy was talking about the growing of the channel earlier, and he's not wrong. We need to put out videos to grow the channel.
This is true. Deanne said, "Not a licking of a spoon in a sexual manner."
So fun. Come on, who doesn't want it?
What the fuck?
Is it Elon? Yeah, it's Elon. Elon Musk is paying. He's giving me fucking $700 to hire.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. No, like for real, fuck that guy. If that was him, I'd be like, you could keep it.
No,
bro.
Elon Musk money I would turn down. In a minute, I would not. I'd be like, I don't want none of your money, buddy. Not a dime of it.
Okay. I'm sorry I didn't get to the chat. I was busy.
No, listen, I mean, we went talking about so much shit that it was crazy. And then, of course, got to keep the chat and you guys keep it clean, keep it safe.
So this is Liz Talbot and Isabella Ferrer talking about the spoon licking.
Yeah.
that Baldoni wanted to do.
Yeah. Come on, man. What the fuck is your problem? No, this was a very bad deposition for them.
Yeah.
It was a bad deposition because it goes to the hostile workplace. Mm-hmm. It goes to them not taking the precautions necessary to make actors who are in vulnerable, intimate situations feel safe and respected. And they were clearly not following those protocols put in not only by the union, but by their own production company. And we're dealing with the result now. It's just amazing how the compounding self destruction going on in this production as the evidence becomes more and more clear, and all of it really revolving around this absolutely fucking emotional turmoil of a human being, the emotional tumult of fucking Justin Baldoni. The guy just doesn't have a grip emotionally, and the result, of course, is that he had a chaotic set because he was the boss. And if the boss is out of control, if the boss is the loose tooth,
this is interesting.
you're not gonna be able to bite down.
Yeah, like that's the culture. He sets the culture of the set.
He is the culture.
I think that's why he was so indignant that anybody dare challenge him or correct him in his behavior, because he's like, you're in my house.
It's also why
it really shouldn't work that way.
It's also why Steve Sarowitz called it a Baha'i set.
Yeah, right.
He called it a Baha'i set, and I don't believe for a second that was just something he talked about alone in that moment or in his own mind. I believe that was something that the three of them discussed at length at some point, or, in some kind of offhand conversation that spoke to, the overall sort of vibe that they were going for as a production company, and that which differentiated them from, the typical Hollywood set, which, obviously Jamie Heath, having produced absolutely no movies, would know so much about, Anyway, guys, you guys are fucking awesome. Thank you for hanging in there for nearly 3 damn hours today. Thank you for getting through all that, because I know we promised it on the live, and we got carried away on this other stuff, and so you're the best.
Yeah, I just want to get it down for people who don't have time to read this. They could prefer to listen to it, and I'm happy to do it. I
don't have time to look at any kind of requests for Monday's deposition readings, because I think we should just keep reading in and building more of this content. We got requests
yesterday, right?
But if you have requests over the weekend, hit us up on freedomsplum.com, or hit us up on the Patreon if you're a member of the Patreon. And again, the Patreon content should start rolling out next week. The live should start rolling out next week for the writing, which I am so excited about. I just can't tell you enough. If you're a writer, aspiring writer, come and hang out with me. I'm not going to be chatting with you, but I'm going to be writing and explaining my writing and reading it out loud, and it's going to be dope. But then also in 1 week Sunday will be our first astrology session specifically for the members, where we're basically having an open astrology study session every week for our members. It's going to be dope.
I'm bummed that I missed the chat, because you guys are cracking jokes. Felbaumling said, in quotes, like it's in the script, young Lily grabs the ceiling fan with both hands, totally ignorant to the fact that it has been set on high. He's just like adding these scenes in.
Like Felbaumling should be like writing animation.
Oh, you guys are funny.
All right, superstars.
Enjoy the Bad Bunny show this
Enjoy
weekend.
the Bad Bunny show. Seattle's going to win in a rout. That's my prediction. I don't think that Mayo's ready for this moment. I don't think the stage is firm under his feet at this young point in his career. And I think he's shown that through this period, through this end sort of stretch of his absolute amazing season, bloody MVP caliber season.
I'm sad that I can't also offer my picks, because you deserve to be on a sports show with your sports bros. And I'm sorry that I can't.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. All right, you guys. Good night. See you Monday. Bye-bye.